Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. My name is Raheem. I'm not important. I'm just a question asker. My name is Raheem, but I think I heard somebody just come in. Well, just let me see who we got here. I think it's Captain Leonard. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem. Morning, Glow family.
Leonard, I want to ask you a question. First, how was your weekend?
It was fine.
You get anything done, man?
No, nothing at all.
One of them good weekends. Okay, I got you. I got you. Hey, that's how we have to do it sometimes, brother. That's exactly how we have to do it. But let me ask you this question. We talk finances.
Hmm.
I got into a conversation with a friend of mine over the weekend, and we was talking about finances and how a lot of times, not all the time, because he was very specific in saying this. He said not all the time. He said sometimes it's great, it's amazing how it's done, but a lot of times we don't teach our children about finances and how to maneuver and deal with money. Do you agree with that?
No,
Mm-hmm.
no,
So of course,
I don't necessarily agree with that because one, I don't lump things into one big basket
mm-hmm.
like that.
Yeah, and that's
Many people teach their kids about finance, but you
mm-hmm,
have to understand economics is about choices that you make,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and it's about choices that you make. What economics really is the decisions that you make in this situation on how to spend your money.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Now, there are certain things you should do for your children up front if you're serious about finance. And that's one, you would have set up various types of savings and things like that for them or what have you, so they would have something.
mm-hmm.
But you have to think about it. Once a person has a desire of their own, if that does not, you know,
Line
coincide
up.
with how you think they should spend their money,
Mm-hmm,
that's
mm-hmm.
completely natural. People like to
Mm.
party and have fun, not save money and sit around and do nothing.
Is that one? And you're right. You're
But
right. I agree.
I'm saying it that way
Hmm.
because I'm not telling you something I heard.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But my thing is, Leonard, how much does that help individually and collectively, the community as a whole? Because we do want to party, it could be a recession or whatever it could be. People still gonna find a way to have a good time. People still
Right.
gonna have a good time, find a way to have a good time, even in a recession where money is very scarce. They're gonna find a way to party in some kind of way. So, it, how helpful is that for us? And let's deal with individually.
And I use just party
Yeah.
as
Oh, absolutely.
one reason. Yeah.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that because, like I said again, and I say it all the time, man. People don't start repeating it, but a lot of times what happens is some people, and I'm not gonna paint with such a wide brush, but some people will pay for what they want and beg for what they need. They'll pay
And I,
for them Jordans. They'll pay for all those other things that they want. But at the end of the day, when it comes time for that light and that water and that rent or whatever mortgage to be paid, now they want to come and borrow money from you.
well,
So
I
they'll
mean,
go ahead.
you making a point. You know, I'm the individual guy.
Mm-hmm.
What you do with your money ain't none of my business. I don't care
Yeah,
what you spend your money on. I don't care
that's
if you
true.
spend all your money on dope, whatever
Mm-hmm.
you do.
Mm-hmm.
That's your money.
I agree
And
with
I
that.
don't have a desire for us.
But listen, my thing is, I agree with that. But at the same time, if you're going to do that, then that's your right to do it the way you want to do it.
Yes.
Absolutely. But don't come to me. Man, I need to borrow 200. Man, I need to borrow
Right.
blah blah blah. Because now we got a problem. Let me pull some more people. Captain Dennis, we got him on video this morning. Captain D, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning to everybody. I'm very honored to be
Hey,
here with you this morning. To everybody, peace to my brother and Professor Leonard, and peace to my brother. Who's that to the right of me? There's somebody there drinking
Ibrahim.
some coffee.
Yes,
Brother
Ibrahim.
Ibrahim, man, I mean, now I got to go get me a cup of coffee. God, dog,
He
Ibrahim.
done done it. He done
At
done it, brother.
least, at least, at least you ain't eating an egg sandwich this morning. But okay, all right. But
Just
I'm
wait a
happy
minute.
to be with y'all,
Give me a
brother.
minute. Give me a minute.
Oh, you give it. But I'm happy to be with you, brothers. I'm in New York City,
Okay.
and we're here for dealing with the brothers that were in Harlem, where there was this mass shooting. We're getting ready to put some boots on the ground in Harlem. I'm a Harlemite, and I'm so sad because Harlem has always been known to be Black Mecca.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in Harlem for 20 years and never seen any level of violence that I've seen in the last couple of years. So
Wow.
we're trying to save Harlem. We're trying to get back, but there's a family feud that caused the 9 people to be shot and the 1 person killed. I found out that it was a family feud,
Mm.
and they've been going at it for a while. So
Wow.
a young man was a very aspiring. He was in college, playing college basketball, and they took his life. So
Mm.
I had to come here and play my role to try to bring some sense of civility back to Harlem. We can't
Yes, sir.
lose Harlem. That
Exactly.
that word Harlem is Black America.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the second best thing. There was Black Wall Street. Well, I ain't gonna put it compared to Black Wall Street because most of the business in Harlem now is not people of color. We've lost it. It's almost, they want to call it Harlem Heights. So when
Mm.
you hear them want to call them Harlem Heights, you already know that people
The
have
direction,
moved in
the
and
direction they're
taken
going in.
over.
Yep.
But
Exactly.
thank you for, that's where I'm at, brother. I'm sorry for going so long with that.
No. You're good. I want to talk to too about economics, and are we being responsible enough? Are we teaching our children proper economics and how to deal with and make their money last long? Give their money the longevity that it needs to sustain the community. Are we as our generation, as parents, are we responsible enough? Have we been responsible enough to teach our children economics? What do you say to that?
Well, I was like what Professor Leonard was saying, man. He was really, giving us some real good info about, the generation. We're not passing on the generation wealth. There's a book that was written by a Jewish writer, and it was a book that a lot of the Jews was very upset that this Jewish writer wrote. It's called The Jewish Phenomenon. In the book, The Jewish Phenomenon, it says that it talks about, he really was bragging about how much Jews control America,
Mm-hmm.
being a small percentage, they control all of the finances. And he was bragging, but they was upset that he was revealing
Mm.
things that they didn't want being revealed
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
why they control certain the wealth. But in the book, The Jewish Phenomenon, one of the articles was that Jewish people, men and women, they sacrifice what
Mm-hmm.
they call immediate gratification.
Yes.
They
Yes.
they sacrifice for what they now call delayed gratification. It's called delayed gratification, which means they sacrifice enjoying the quality of life, the riches of life, the spoils of life,
Mm-hmm.
so that their children
Yes.
can get it tomorrow. So
Mm-hmm.
when you see most Jewish people that practice delayed gratification, they ain't driving big fancy cars. They ain't living in, no. They sacrifice to pass on wealth to their children. Now we don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
We pass on debt to our children.
Mm-hmm.
My
Yes.
mother and father didn't pass on me no wealth. So I have to come up from the gutter to the butter. So
Mm-hmm.
we don't pass on. So you're absolutely right. We're not taught economics. Matter of fact, you remember, Brother Raheem, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said there's 3 things that white folks did not want black people to know or to get involved with. And that was the art of war,
Mm-hmm.
the art of business,
Mm-hmm.
and the art of mating.
Yeah.
They did not want us to know business. They did not want us to know the art of war. And they didn't want us to know the art of mating. Now that one art of mating, that's a deep one. And we'll
Mm-hmm.
go into that another time. But that's that Roe versus Wade, the
Yeah.
art of
Yeah.
mating. That's
Absolutely.
that part. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, so I
Mm-hmm.
think they kept us out of business because really business is war. And if we're going to come up economically, we can't have people come in our community and suck our community dry of
Mm-hmm.
all the financial resources
Yep.
that we can use to give our youth a business mind training and pass on to them that they can get wealth and not pass on to their generation
Mm-hmm.
poverty. So I
Exactly.
agree that we have to teach our young people, and mostly this older generation, we do have to do like the Jewish people. We have
Mm-hmm.
to practice delayed gratification.
Yep.
Put your wants aside and
Mm-hmm.
recognize the needs of your children. Thank you for giving me that opportunity.
Absolutely. And like I say again, a lot of times, man, and it's unfortunate, but again, I'm not going to paint with such a wide brush, but I would say this: a lot of times we pay for what we want and beg for what we need. Rico, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Man, I can't complain. Welcome to a new day, man.
Hey, welcome to you as well, brother. We're talking about economics. Are we teaching our children proper economics, man, so that they can go out there and have things that maybe we even didn't have ourselves? Are we teaching them how to use their money and let their money work for them? Are we teaching them that art?
Yeah, we're teaching them how to use it. The matter, but is it properly?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're teaching them to go out here and buy mistakes and talk to the money. You know what I'm saying? We're teaching them how to buy red bottoms. You know, how to buy BBLs. You know, go back to what Captain Dennis just said a second ago. Wants and needs.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of it, you know, when you're really thinking about that, you know, in our community, we can afford a lot of things we want, but are we really investing in the things we need?
Exactly. Come
You
on.
know, you was talking about economy a second ago, but I kept this, he hit it on the head for real. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got that immediate gratification.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the desire to consume and have fun, have a good time, and that reward factor that every human being has to want to always feel good. They don't understand the proper process of legacy. See, we say we're doing things so we can leave things for our children, generational wealth, and we want to leave a legacy. But the legacy we are leaving is to continue being consumers instead of producers.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the producers have longevity. They have that wealth, that generational wealth. They have the legacy. The producers of tools and vices that we use. You know, the conveniences that we all love. You know, it's really, to me, a situation where we have become so addicted to consuming that we have taken on the I'm gonna say the image of fiends.
Mm.
So it's like everybody has a drug. Everybody has a certain type of drug. Everybody has a certain type of desire, a certain thing that they love. And if they're not careful, they will invest more time consuming those things and spending their money, making money to consume things instead of making money to produce things. Mm-hmm. So now, once again, like you said earlier, by the time you leave here, your children got a bunch of debt that you done left.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, the home house still has a mortgage on it. Somebody probably went and took a second mortgage out on it. They make good money. You know how many football players and basketball players we heard of that got huge contracts and then pay cash for nothing. They just had everything got on credit, making notes, making payments, so they can go and enjoy and blow money and spend cash on the thing they really love to do. You know, they probably could have put $10,000 or $20,000 on that car that they just bought, but they just went ahead and got the credit thing going, but took that same $20,000 to the strip club, just threw it all in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Get it.
They had a song
because
about
they
that
did
cream
that they love to do instead of things that they needed to do, having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I think in our community, you know, we do teach economics, but is it proper economics? Are we teaching these children or the younger generation how to get money and how to spend it, or how to get it, and then put ourselves in position to control it?
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's good. That's good. And that's a huge question. That's a tremendous question right there, man. Are we really? Do we even know how to? To a certain degree, do we even know how to? Ibrahim, good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning? Are we teaching economics to our children? I got you muted, brother. Let me see. Yeah. You had something going on in the background back there. Turn it down a little bit. Man. Got a little echo coming. Got a little echo coming from you. Turn it down some.
Okay. All right, how about that?
Go ahead.
Okay. You know, I think Rico, Captain D, and earlier I didn't hear what was being said. I just kind of came in. But we look at economics in grandiose terms, just like we do everything else, right? Rico made some very valid points. Captain D made some very valid points. But we talk about things like generational wealth. We don't even understand what wealth is. We don't understand what power is. Now, coming from down south and seeing how people negotiated economics and living, it's very basic. It's supplying the needs and demands of your fellow person. You know, economics is a social issue. You know, it's where you get your produce from, where you get the basic things that you need in life from. Who builds these things? I came up in a society where I see Black people building homes and apartments for Black people because they couldn't get nobody else to do it. I came in a society where I seen Black people provide medical care because other people can do it. Insurance for medical care. One of our richest people was named Alonzo Herndon. I provided medical insurance. That's how he became very wealthy. You know, I can go on, but the thing is that it's so basic that we look so grandiose and spending what we can't afford. You can't afford nothing that interferes with your having a roof over your head, having a meal, you know, basic meal or whatever, about adequate clothing, you know, and stuff like that. If anything that you spend and affects any of that, then you couldn't afford it in the first place. If you buy a house and you know, in old schools, you had more than 50% in debt, you were seen as an unworthy person, and that was from the different banks, right? If you buy a car, you're over 50% in debt. You know what I mean? Your debt exceeds your income, exceeds your living expenses and everything. Then you couldn't afford it. So we teach people about having credit and mixing leveraging credit and stuff like that. That is not economics. You know, that's moving. That's negotiating a society that you have now when you don't have the money. You know, we have all these schemes. You know, these pyramid scheme society. You know, and it comes on. Everybody go crazy with it, or how you can buy houses with other people's money and stuff like that. It becomes a scheme rather than an actual thing. You know, you're paying money to a person to tell you how to be a millionaire to make him a millionaire. You know, we don't have the senses in that anymore, right? And we are consumers, and that was a very valid point. And I've taught this for years. We're consumers. You know, we say buy something, and to describe your wealth in society, you got to own possessions. You got to have this big car. You got to have this big home. You got to do X, Y, and Z. And then even your religion tells you got to have these things. And then when you fail, you were punished. You know, not that you exceeded your means. And if you didn't have these things, then you weren't blessed. You know, you are blessed because you have all these things. You know, I can't think one religion that says that you were blessed because you have all these things. You know, and we don't value our children. Our children are expense now. You know, when people had children, everybody had a purpose. Everybody generated income for the home or the community itself. You know, then when we started becoming more urbanized, right, then kids became a deficit. You had to pay this. You had to do this for the kid. You had to do that for the kid. And the kid produced nothing or learned nothing in producing for the family and the good or the community. So, you know, it's a very basic issue. You know, we had to go so far down to the dirt and the soil, you know, and plant the right seeds in, and then build up and help rebuild the plants and everything, right? And separate ourselves in a lot of ways. You know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that. And he talked about separation. Everybody thought, oh, it's a race issue, it's a race issue. No, he said we had to pull, just like Moses, you had to pull yourself away from the luxury and the wealth of Egypt. You know what I mean? And the debauchery of Egypt and the use of wealth, right? And pull them out to the basic form to show you who do you depend on? Where do your needs and goods and resources come from? How you develop these things? How you create these things? Where do you take these things? Or where do you build these things?
Okay, hold right there for a second. We got a couple other people that just came in here. I want to go to Badger. Badger, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? Good point, Ibrahim. Good point, brother.
Another blessed and beautiful day we all get to share.
Absolutely. Are we teaching our children economics, Badger? Are we teaching our children how to deal with their money, how to make their money work for them, or are we just gonna always be consumers?
There's an echo.
Go ahead, I got it. Go ahead, Badger.
I mean, I am. So, I think that's a hard one because there's a lot of younger kids I know that understand balance and money and checkbooks. And well, I wouldn't say checkbooks. Most of them probably wouldn't even know what that is. Balancing a bank account. And I think we have jacked up the economy or let it get jacked up,
Mhm.
to be honest.
Let's concentrate on the kids. What are we doing for the children? Are we teaching them?
We're teaching them how to screw it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just that's an interesting question this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I was totally prepared for something else.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I mean, when you step back and look, it's essentially we're teaching our kids, you know, to get a decent job unless you are an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go get in debt, get a loan, get in more debt. You're not going to be able to own the house unless you go in more debt. So there's 3 times more debt. And then we're going to yell at you and treat you like you're a lazy piece of scum because you're struggling. And we can't financially help you, but we're expecting you to make it on your own.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. Let me go to Curtis. Curtis, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? Curtis, you there?
Good morning, brother.
Good morning, sir. We're talking about economics, man, and children from a children's standpoint. Curtis, are we teaching our children how money works, how it can work for you, or are we teaching them to always be consumers and be in debt, basically? What are we teaching our children in regards to economics?
We're teaching them how to be buyers, not sellers.
Mm-hmm.
As long as I teach you to be a buyer, then whomever is rich can stay rich.
Mm-hmm.
Teach you how to be sellers. I mean, it's crazy. Like, kids don't even really get modern economics as a class unless you are in a special educational setting. Like if you're a STEM student, then you'll get economics. But if business is not your core thing in high school, you won't even share economics class until you get to college.
Mm-hmm.
By then you already in debt. Like it's crazy, like the math that you're mandated to take. I believe it's like 1 year applied math 1 year applied math 2, and then 1 year of algebra, geometry, calculus, something like that. Economics is not even like a part of the curriculum unless you are I don't want to say a special student, but if you like a smart student, then you have a choice if you want to take economics or no.
Mm-hmm.
And what little bit of economics that is created within the applied math spectrum really does not teach you about money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I deal with cards every day who got high school diplomas, and you graduated high school, and you was never taught how to balance a checkbook.
Mm.
So, I've got kids right now, Raheem, that don't even know how to fill out a money order.
Mm. Good Lord. Good Lord. Hicks, good morning,
They
sir.
don't know how to read.
Go ahead, Kurt.
They don't know how to read this is a real sample. They don't even know how to read a pay stub, Raheem.
Mm. Don't know where their money going. Exactly. Wow. Let's go to Hicks. Hicks, good morning. And it's a lot tied into this thing here, man. It's a lot. Hicks, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, family. I'm doing fine. Hope everybody's doing the same.
Hey, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Talk to me about economics. Are we teaching our children properly? Are we preparing them?
No, we're not. The system don't support it. I saw a number of YouTube clips where these people went on college campus and asked the students general questions about history, about capitals, about the current events and politics, and no one had the answers. No one knew. The answers are so asinine and crazy. I think that it's been a general process of dumbing down American. I mean, not just our people, but our people. You know, it's a systematic, almost desire to dominate, to move things into a different situation. But no, we don't teach our kids not even basic things. I think most of my training always can't most of my real true learning happen outside of the school system. The educational system is just like the medical, it's industries now. The emphasis on making money, the emphasis on people occurring debt. The economy is based on lack. You know, the lack produces opportunity for big time thinkers. But no, I think we have to start programs within our families, within our local communities to do these things. You'll find that kids are interested in it if the opportunity is there.
Wow. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Talking about economics, man. Are we teaching? Are we preparing our children? Do they know what to do? Do we know what to do? And we're not painted with such a wide brush. You know, we know that there are some people out there that's doing a fantastic job at teaching and preparing their children. But there's also the other side of the coin. Captain, what's on your heart?
Thank you so much. As I was listening to these brilliant men on this line, and I'm not saying it just to say that, but you know, you got a wealth of experience, and I pull from everything that everyone says. I was thinking that, you know, in the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he teaches us in what we call actual facts that light travels at the rate of 186,000 miles per second, and sound travels at the rate of 1,120 feet per second. And he teaches us that sound travels faster, light travels faster than sound. Now, why is that important? Because our youth are a youth that follow what they see and not what they hear. So, you know, when they see us as the older generation, we're still practicing gratification. We're going to stores that don't look like us. We're paying money for things that does not give us any kind of respect. So they are a generation that see. I see, look what I'm saying. They ain't hearing what we're saying, because light travels faster. I see you. So we have demonstrated as adults. We could teach them. I heard the word. Are we teaching our children economics? No, we're not teaching them. We're not even showing them. That the words is not as important. If you can go into any community and you see all these black run business, they see that. You ain't got to teach them. You make an example. We have not made an example. We adults, we can't blame them for what they don't know. Look what they see. They go to the community. Who do they see in their community? The people that in the community don't look like them. They damn sure not hiring them. So how would they ever know economic base? How would they know? When we do law enforcement, we vet police officers. One of the things we do when we vet police officers, before we bring them on into the academy, we got to know something about their background. So what we do, we go into the community that officer lived in. And most of the time, if he's Italian, if he's Irish, whatever, if he's Spanish, he come from a community. So we talk to the general store man. We talk to the butcher. We talk to the pizza man. We talk to the schools. We talk to the friends, because he come from a community that he is supported by economically. He look at his store is owned by an Italian. He look at the bakery owned by an Italian. He look at the pizza shop owned by Italian. He look at the dry clean owned. So he comes and he sees. So when we go to check out his background, the people that see him grow up going to say, oh, William? Oh, he was a good kid. He was a little troubled. I had him working in my store a couple of times, you know, stocking the shelf. But he basically a good kid. So what, he's going into the cash? Well, I say he's all right. So what I'm saying is, where do our children come from? Do we come from a community? Do they come from the community where they see, not what they hear? Where they see economic development? No. So we got to take the blame on that because we have not given them nothing to look at. And we the ones still going to Costco's and all them stores. We doing it as adults. So do we know economic development? Do we know the value of how people come in your community and suck your community dry? Don't even hire your people, give you inferior goods, give you inferior service, and at the same time, do not bring economic development in your community, and they take it out your community and they go and support the community they live in, because most of the people don't live in the community. So we want to get to economic. It's war. Economic, you let people suck your community dry, and we participate. It's going to always be like that until we change it. Thank you.
Exactly. Leonard, I think one of the things he's speaking of is lack of a better term, leeches. They come into the neighborhood, take everything, but give back nothing, and then go back to their community and build it up. Are we to blame for that, or are they just taking advantage of a situation that they see?
Well, I think everybody operates in their own best interest. That's what business is to me. I'm not big on the race thing at all. If you don't want them in your community, don't shop there. I don't know where you live. You know, I don't have a problem with people in my community and business or what have you, but you know, that's a very subjective idea that is dependent on race. Now, some people would prefer certain things, and like Captain Dennis was alluding to, I look at it as the fact that you did not take advantage of the opportunity and someone else did. Now, if you don't want to do it, that's your business. I don't care if you don't have nothing in your community, because it's your community. And if you don't want nothing there, there don't have to be nothing there if you don't want. Because you see what you do in your community.
And see a piece of the thing that I have an issue with what you just said is we talking about the children, and you're absolutely right. If a person want to sit down and do nothing, you know, that they can do that. They can do that. They have all the rights in the world if that's what they want to do. And you're absolutely right. If they don't want nothing in their community, they don't have to have anything in their community. If somebody else is going to come in and take full advantage of it, then a part of that fault is theirs. But my concentration is the children. What are you doing to the children in that community, or how you're hurting or harming those children in that community?
I mean, it's completely subjective. When you're talking about, you know, what are your community, well, explain your community. Is that just where you live or where you own stuff?
Was that rhetorical or?
No, I'm asking because you throw this community around like it's something that is automatically exist and everybody should know what it is and all these types of things. I know what you all talk about as it relates to race because you use race as a priority. But if you're talking about a black community, you're gonna have to start saying that.
Well, if we want to simplify it and water it down to that level, let's say a black community. Are we in the black community teaching our children properly as to what they need to know economically?
Yes, they're being taught. However, they're making economic decisions that satisfy them. Explain
to me how they're being taught.
Well, think about it. It ain't changed since when it was taught when I was in school. It's not money is not money. You can't associate with why you don't have money with an education about money.
But I want to push more people.
Because you can have all the education in the world and still be broke.
That's the point. But my thing is this right here: is not being taught in the school
not
system.
Being taught?
In the school, economics is not being taught.
Well, poor school y'all go to then.
That's not
poor
just
school
one,
y'all go to, because I don't know no school that don't teach consumer math.
Consumer math. And you're gonna ball consumer math with in the whole ball of wax with
That's
economics.
all it is.
Wow. Wow.
Consumer math is all that
That
is.
is what it
And when
is.
you're talking about the school
That is
proponent,
what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it always has been that.
Mm-hmm.
And one, it doesn't take 12 years to explain somebody how to write a check or anything. The issue is
These
what
children
you
don't even know how to write in
decide
cursive.
to
These
do.
these children don't even really know how to write in cursive anymore, man.
Stop
So much
saying
stuff,
these
stuff has been taken
children.
out. They don't.
Because
deal with them.
cursive,
I know.
when you
They don't
say
know how to
when
write
you
in
say
cursive.
something like they don't know how to write in cursive,
They
well,
don't.
what you know what? You didn't know how to use a computer.
Mm-hmm. But I think, well, I know I use a computer every day. I'm very good at using a computer.
Not when
But
you
my
was
thing-
these children's age that you talking about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They far more advanced than you were.
Why? Because they
They
can
have
use a
far
computer.
more access to education than you had.
Is it based upon the fact that they could use a computer?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, very much so.
I know a lot of old people, man. I know a lot of old people, man, that was very, very intelligent and didn't have no more than third, fourth, or fifth grade
It
education.
has nothing to
So
do with intelligence. It has everything to do with what's available
Mm-hmm. And that's
to
how they got.
use at your disposal. You sitting around talking about what kids don't know, it's because they don't want to. You can go on YouTube and in 10 minutes learn how to write a check. You don't need to go to school no 12 years to learn how to do that.
Let me ask you a question, Leonard. When you and maybe not you, because you said your mother never told you no, but as a whole, children back in the day, if grandma or mama cooked a meal and they say I don't want that, I don't want that, what would happen back in the day? They either gonna do one or two things.
Eat.
Exactly. All that's gone now. Now these parents today, they'll cater to the children. They'll cook three or four different meals just so the kids can eat. Back in my day, look, if you don't want what mama cooked, bro, you better go.
But who really cares? Who really cares?
I do.
That's the thing. When you try to impose the 70s on these 2023 kids, there's a mismatch in information.
Somehow, somewhere I read where it says this people will be wiser but weaker or something to that effect. Rico, talk to me, brother.
Yeah, because this sort of got away from me a little bit. I think we are teaching them economics, but we are teaching them the part about you need to pay to play. We are teaching them that you got to make money to survive or to live or to do what you need to do. But we're not teaching them the entire system of economics. See, for the system of economics to work, you have to have consumers.
Yes.
Now, somebody made a comment earlier about how they didn't want black people to learn, or I can't remember what it was that he said, but they didn't really want us to know the system of economics. See, there are key pieces to the system of economics for it to work. And one part of that system of economics was not meant for us.
Yeah.
It was meant for us. It was meant to be profitable, but we were the product. We weren't the ones that profit. So now with that system being put in place that was meant to succeed off of our backs, of course they didn't want us to learn it. And you was right. Even when I was in school, consumer math or consumer economics was an elective.
Yes,
exactly. Now, if you came up in a family where your grandmama didn't make it past the third grade, or the parents, you know what I'm saying? I mean, what's the odds of a black community really understanding the system of economics and wealth when it wasn't really meant for them to understand? So now here it is. We are the same people that were expected to understand economics, but chose to go after integration, chose to go spend more money just to have access to white products that they charge us more for, and avoid the cheaper products in our own community. That wasn't too much economic intelligence. That wasn't too much financial competence. But what they did, they created a condition. See, we are all creatures of habit. We can say, well, we want to dismiss slavery and dismiss race. We can't dismiss race because this whole economic system in this country was built off of us not succeeding and being a part of it. It was meant for us to not become successful in it. So if you did become successful in it, you had to play their game. You had to become the slave trader or the most brutal slave trader, which some black people did. But we still never really taught them the proper system of economics. Why is this? How is this? How is successful? So now we have a generation of people in the Black community that learn economics after school. I mean, Curtis said something earlier about the kids not knowing how to read a check or sign a check. Man, I know people that don't know weights and measurements, and these weren't taught in elective classes. These were taught in regular math classes. They didn't know weights and measurements until it was time for them to know how much some dope weighed. Then it got easy. So we weren't really interested in being a producer. See, when you come from a community that have been conditioned to only have access to crumbs, but they can see with their own eyes that there are more than crumbs out there, but they don't have access to them or they're restricted from it, you're going to build addicts. You're going to build more and more people that desire those things that they can't have because they know it exists, but we can't have it. But the first chance I get to buy it, ooh, you just wait. So here it is. We got a community, a Black community of people that like to waste money. Now, we do have some successful people in investment and economics, true that. You know, they understood. They might have had access, or maybe they got to work at a young age and they had a different view. But for the most part, we come from a culture of people that have always desired things that they didn't have access to, which created a dope-themed mindset. So now we don't even really think about the knowledge and wisdom that we pass down, that type of wealth. We don't think about the legacy of the generational wealth. We just use those words, but we still teach people to make money so you can spend money for the most part, not everybody. So that us being creatures of habit, that is a mindset that has been really tough to break, because when you come from a system that didn't want you to be educated, didn't want you to participate, the only thing they want, the only participation they wanted you to have was to make money off of your back, but not for you to succeed and be a producer. Then it's hard for you to break away from that mindset, because we still out here trying to chase material things that we don't have access to, that other people do have access to and have had access to over generations. So that mindset is still stuck within us, to be able to, one day I can afford. One day I can afford to do this. One day I can afford to send you to dance classes. One day I can afford to buy that house on that side of town. We just want to be able to afford to be able to survive or participate in life in the way that the average person should have been able to. And once we got that access, that was the focus. So, as far as teaching people to, oh man, put up money for a bad day, man, what I look like putting up money for a bad day? You see how much my ancestors went without? You see how much my grandmama and my daddy went without? My mama and my grandparents, man, I'm finna live a life. Nigga, we made it.
Wow. Ibrahim, you had your hand up. Yeah, and see, I got a question I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna listen to a few more people, but I got another question I want to ask as well. But Ibrahim, I got you muted, brother. Hold on for a second. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Well, I set my timer for 3 minutes and 30 seconds. All right. Timing.
Now, how you gonna get asked for 30 seconds? Where you got to ask you 30 seconds from?
Hey, because you introduced me.
No.
Hey, no. You're interfering now. Okay.
No. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, listen. Now, a professor back in the 90s, a guy named Dr. Amos Wilson, and he talked about the psychology and the psychology of economics of being Black. Everybody is kind of like beating around near it, right? Because you don't want to look. And when you talk about economics is a historical thing. You have to look way back to understand the base of economics. We talk about America, we talk about the Jewish community. Only a small percentage of the Jewish community control the wealth. Just recently, they announced that 1% of people in the world control 20% of the income in America. 1% of people in America control 20% of the income in America, right? So this tells you something. Now, economics is a social thing. Economics is a racial thing, if you want to use the word race. Or you can say the white people, or the Black people, or the Mexican people, right? You have to use the Jewish people. You have to use these things in order to identify a group of people, because that's where their economics originate from. They're trying to feed themselves. They're trying to possess the land and resources, right? And numbers is very important. Money is not power. People are power. right? The number of people that think alike or look for their own interests is power. We forget that, right? And I will argue anytime about that. When we talk about educating the youth, first we have to educate the adults ourselves to create that environment. Just like Captain D said, I saw when I was coming up in a black wealth, right? And we understand. Let's don't put it in terms as I'll give credit to another gentleman. Let's don't put it in the terms of black wealth. If you see a Walmart that's providing wealth to their community, providing services and hiring people in your community, that's more of a black company than I would pose to a guy across the street selling dashikis and incense. You know, they're providing food and needs and clothing and stuff, basic stuff that people can buy at a reasonable price. So I would say then, why argue with Walmart? Why not buy shares of stock in Walmart as a group of people, right? And own 30, 40, 50% of Walmart. Then you control the economic culture of Walmart and who will provide service for and bring wealth in the community, right? We look at things in such a grandiose thing and look at so basic that we don't even understand what that type of wealth is, right? I'm running up on 30 seconds now. So let's look at this as a collective issue. Let's don't separate ourselves out from one group or another, but let's call ourselves black. That's what we are. This right here shows you that. You were born this way, and you identify this way consistently. You go out today, we can talk about the black and white. You go out today, look what they're going to see. They don't care who you are, what education level you are. You are black. So let's look at this in the economics to uplift ourselves and upraise ourselves.
Time up, Ibrahim. Time up, Ibrahim. Because I Curtis, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
Well, there's no way that you can talk economics and not talk about the systematic oppression of black economics. Yes. It'd be foolish to have that discussion and separate it, and not separate it issue by issue by issue. The fact that you oppressed a group of people for free labor and paid death, and then you freed them and gave them no leg to stand on is a
Curtis.
genocide.
Let me pause your time. I'm gonna pause your time for a second, Curtis. Hold on for a second. I'm gonna ask you this question. I know the answer to this question, and I think everybody on here knows the answer to that question, but I'm asking for somebody that may not know the answer to that question. So understand where I'm coming from when I ask you this. But how could one, what would you say to the person that says that has nothing to do with economics? Slaves and all this stuff had nothing to do with economics. They were just in a situation, and because they was in that situation, they got caught up. But it has nothing to do with economics. Educate them on that. I'm starting your time back up now.
Well, first I would be impolite because I would say you're a damn fool. I'm gonna go to the corner afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about the American system that we know of today is based off of the money that was made during slavery. Everything that we know, I'm gonna say it again. Everything that we know about the American system today in 2023 is based off of the economical gains of slavery. Even down to those who had gambling habits, and when slavery came about, when slavery was abolished, they were given reparations because they no longer had slaves, so that gave them skin back in the game. The whole economic system of America, the stock market, everything is directly tied to slavery.
Mm-hmm.
So that's first and foremost, right? Secondly, I would say to that person, look at the economical data that shows that was collected that shows America's worth prior to slavery. Look at the economical data that shows America's worth during slavery. And then
30
look at the
seconds,
data
Curtis.
that shows America's worth after slavery. And what you'll find is those very same companies, those very same slave owners got loans and they got loans, unprotected and protected loans, based off of the value of their properties. The slaves, the more slaves you have, the greater the property value was.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Gotta
only
move.
that, I'd say to them. And last but not least, as a slave owner, if I really was down on my luck and I had, for example, 150 slaves, but I got 5 overseers that's going to follow what I say, that's how I can get rich again.
Mm-hmm.
Tell
Good.
overseers, go out there, kill everybody.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Let's
Hold
hold on, Curtis. 30, that's it. Hold on, Curtis. Stay right there, brother. I have to come back to you. Got to pull some more people into the conversation. Toussaint, good morning, sir. We're talking economics. Toussaint, are we teaching our children proper economics and how to work with the money or let the money work for them? Are we teaching them properly, Toussaint?
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
All right. Okay. I don't know who teaching.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who the teacher is. And I sure enough don't believe there's any students. I'm just saying. I don't know who the we is, because most of the time when you see something, we're more interested. We don't mind making money, but we're going about doing any and everything to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we do get it, our priorities are so jacked up that we ride good, we dress good, but home is a mess.
Mm. Wow.
I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
I mean, you gotta, and I don't mean any harm by what I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna say it just like I thought about it. You got this. No, I can't say it like that. You got a kid that can't spell cat
Mm-hmm.
with Nike tennis shoes on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he got video games, the best kind. But
Mm-hmm.
he don't know how to read.
Mm-hmm.
He can go anywhere he want to and look good. Let me throw something else out, because my time, I don't know what it is, but I know it's almost up. You eating shrimp and seafood, and they eating cereal.
Mm. Wow.
And you got it going on. What is that drink that they like? Zaraka, Haraka. P. Diddy's drinking.
Yeah.
This other guy's drinking. They're wearing their cologne and this and that and the other, and you're renting and rolling.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
How
good.
you gonna rent some wheels
Mm.
to look good, and when the repo man come, they take them and put your car on blocks?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
Exactly.
Economics.
Now,
Yay.
I'm gonna go to somebody that might know what P. Diddy's liquor is called. You know, Leonard. What's it called, Leonard?
He has a couple. One he's probably talking about is Ciroc.
Mm-hmm. Now, how you know?
Because I I do read about these great black businessmen that are expanding
Okay.
their empires all across various products and services.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Talk about
I'm just saying I don't have a whole bunch to say, because one, I don't have this view of people of color.
it. Mm-hmm.
I don't look down on them as pitiful people or anything like that. So they just doing what they want to do, and I'm happy with that.
Wow. Okay. Captain, talk to me.
Well, it just dawned on me that shit, excuse my language, Leonard is blind. I didn't know he was blind. I thought the man could see. I thought his glasses was cool, but he is Stevie Wonder. He can't see color for real.
Mm-hmm.
He everything he says. But we talking about if we talked about the Asian community, right here in New York, they got the largest Chinatown in America right here in New York.
Mm-hmm.
That's race. That's race. And I don't care how we look. We got the Jewish community in Crown Heights. We got Williamsburg is a Hasidic Jews. They live in a community. That's, well, I ain't gonna say that's race. That's more people of respect of religion practices. We have up here, they got an area called Washington Heights, and that's the Dominican community. And they all live with it. I don't know if Brother Leonard came out of came out of an integrated community. Maybe he didn't live in a black community. But in reality, the community that we talking about on this line is a black. If I was having a business and my business, I'm spending out more than what I'm getting, I hire what you call a public certified accountant, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do that public certified accountant do? He has to check the history. We're not going to be able to say slavery had nothing to do with us being in this economic condition. You got to check the history. And when that certified public accountant, he checked the history, he can say, oh, Mr. Muhammad right here. See right here? You spending more than you taking in. And look right back here. He want to get me out the red and put me in the black. But he can't do that until he go and check the history and see where I have made mistakes. We have to study our history so we can see the mistakes that was making or the advantage of those. America built her wealth. I don't give a doggone what anybody say. And if you don't believe this, then you really are blind, deaf, and dumb. America has built her wealth off the backs of the poor. They have built their wealth off the slaves. They have built their wealth off the indigenous people, the Native American. They have built their wealth off of poor people, poor white folks. They have built their wealth. And for us to act like, well, no, it's not a race issue, we crazy. It is a race issue. And now that we're talking about it, we are able to see, we have to recognize they never want us to know how to build economic wealth, because economic wealth means power. And I like what Brother Leonard said. You talking about living in your community or owning your community.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we living in our community. Leonard, you're right. We not owning our community. We don't own our community. And this is where we talking about now. We got to own our community and let our children, what? See. Not hear, see. Stop the talk and let's show them what we really can do. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. We got Toya with a T. Toya with a T. Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Can I go after her?
Yes. Toya.
Good morning. Good morning. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good. Doing good. Toya, we're talking about economics and are we teaching our children proper economics to make them to allow them to move forward in a positive way where they know how to let the money work for them. Toya with a T. Are we teaching our children proper economics?
We ain't teaching our kids nothing. I mean, I'm not gonna say that.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, I'm for real, because the things that I see, I mean, it just don't seem like we're teaching them nothing. We're just letting them live and watch us, and then they're supposed to just know how to go. Like, you've been watching me drive for 14 years. Why don't you know how to drive?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what we do to our kids. Like, I heard a conversation the other day with this lady and her son. At 18, she was trying to tell him to go to the doctor. And he was like, well, Ma, I never did that before. Well, you see me do it all the time. What in the world is wrong with us? I mean, like, that's like what I thought to myself. Like, what, even the video game gives directions, and you don't want to give directions, and you wonder why they're out of control. So economically, no, we ruined them. Because economically, all they know is the Jordans they got for never passing their homework. And when they cuss and tuss and fuss and act a clown, they still got Jordans. and they didn't do no work and still got Jordans, and now he had 17. You think that they just gonna up and sprout work and not want Jordans no more? So no, I believe that we are not teaching our children the fundamentals, the basic fundamentals of life. We're providing things for them in an off reality, right? And that's why when as soon as a girl don't like them back, they want to go run into people with cars. As soon as somebody teased them because they don't have Jordans this time, they had to get some Nike Air Force Ones. You know, I mean, some of these things, they kind of work with each other. If we just look around, they kind of go hand in hand. So no, I think we're failing our kids horribly, not only economically, but socially, mentally. I mean, it just, I'm really nervous for the future. Like, seriously. I mean, I just feel like they don't, we already was, our generation, I don't think that we did the best we could. I think we slacked a little. And they're doing like, they lost a lot of what we had. You know what I mean? As far as we come. So I just really feel like, they're going to be in trouble in a couple of years because they're not going to know how to manage at all.
Wow. Badger, you wanted to say something, Badger?
Yeah, because I was sitting here listening to everything, and it's hard for me to say the race thing because I view it as misdirection. It goes out of if we want to use race, the two races that seem to have the hardest time with economics are white and black. Because most, especially in the poor areas, whites are taught that they're not going to have as much access to things. Still to this day, they're taught this. Because folks from India are, taking the gas stations over. Black people are getting loans and grants that we are not allowed access to. And so on and so on. And then I'm hearing what a lot of y'all are saying. And the part that and we're teaching kids this. And it's a separation tactic. Because a lot of the young people that I've met and come across have grown tired of a lot of this. And a lot of times what they say is, well, if you don't want to support a company, don't buy from it. I hear more younger kids say that than older people. So to me, the areas that have been detrimental to them is certain thought processes. A lot of kids today have a different understanding of economics. The amount of people that I know stream and YouTube and all that stuff, and they make a lot of money doing it. Enough to get their own cars, their houses, everything. And looking at that kind of stuff, a lot of them are just entrepreneurs. So I find it interesting about this topic of like some viewpoints in the essence of how does anyone on the line know how many younger kids that, I mean, I'm talking 13-year-olds, 16-year-olds and stuff that are making $100,000-$200,000 a year right now? About the 16, 17-year-old that actually owns his own house?
Okay. I don't know if that was a rhetorical question or
Oh, it was a legit question. Like, how many people are aware of the young kids that are owning their own houses right now?
I don't know a lot of them. I personally I don't know a lot of them. But let's go to we either have VP or we have Friday. Who do we have this morning? I see you, Ibrahim. Hold on.
Good morning, sir. How are you this morning?
Good morning. We got our VP. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
I'm good, sir. I'm good. And yourself?
Hey, doing good, brother. Doing good. Good to have you, man. We're asking a question, economics. And are we teaching our children, are we properly teaching our children economics, how to work with money and how to let money work for us in building up the community or communities? What do you say to that? Are we teaching our children properly?
I don't know. Because I don't think we were taught properly, so I don't know how we would teach them. In essence, don't get me wrong, I don't get beat up on the show for saying we teach our kids right. We teach them how to pay bills, and from the standpoint of what I'm assuming some people see as success, probably not. I don't. Many of us have portfolios or investment accounts. I'm not saying not people on the call, but just speaking in general. Probably don't have a savings account. I'm attesting myself. I'm just now trying to figure out and learn what a savings account is. Cause I like it's my money and I'm gonna spend it now. And that's how you kind of raised me. But I also wasn't raised in not to dig at how I was raised, but I wasn't raised in a family environment where it was one parent battling the other one. So it's somebody always saying, you know what, maybe that's not a good idea and you shouldn't go with that. So with the mentality I had to where I am now, and it took me a long time to get here. No, we're not really teaching our kids because we, a lot of us just learning the bank system and all that and checking accounts, and we're getting away from that because nowadays we're more interested in the non-tangible income, and a lot of us are in between trying to learn what an NFT really is and how to keep our checking to work from check to check each. So I think the kids here nowadays are going to teach themselves a new economic system. Just I think 20 years from now, one we're living in, it will cease to exist.
Wow, that's good. Rico, talk to me, brother.
I once heard from the great Lil Wayne that it ain't tricking if you got it. That's bad advice. Well, then I sort of wonder how many of us grew up in a household where somebody said, hey, let me sit you down and talk to you about economics and Wall Street and investing. You know anything about that, young guy? You ever heard about Wall Street? Let me show you how it works. I don't remember growing up hearing nobody, not only in my household, but in my community, talking about investing in CDs. I knew a few people. And when those people tried to reach out to people of color, melanated people in our community, invited them and say, hey, man, let me talk to you about making money, man, and your legacy and property value. And let me talk to you about investing. I got some stuff for you, man. You like money, don't you? Yeah, I like money. Well, let me talk to you. Man, what's going on?
I don't know what the world going on here. Somebody playing some music in the background. I don't know what that was. But go ahead, Rico.
That was me getting a call. My bad, Rico. I never remember hearing that growing up, and I never remember seeing that too often. But then I did get exposed to investing from my stepfather. And like I said, I ain't been around my mom and my stepfather since I was 11. So maybe at about the age of 8 or 9 years old, after seeing why I had to sit in the car outside of this investing company all the time while my stepdaddy was in there, I found out that this white man he used to work for since he was 9 years old, the one that was responsible for us having a house in the white neighborhood because he couldn't get shown houses in that neighborhood for him being black, turned him onto this thing called investing, making your money work for you. Legacies, property. Now you go into a lot of black communities right now, You see these abandoned houses that somebody left to them, families left to their children and grandchildren, and ain't nobody got time for it no more.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what? I know a lot of young people buying houses now, but they ain't keeping them houses and saving them for their children. They selling it for profit and then flipping it so they can move on to another bigger house.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't thinking of nothing about the home house or the home that the great-grandchildren could come back to, or even the children could come back to and show their children, hey, this is my room, this is my bedroom. People moving. They don't value those things anymore, but they still value making money and spending money.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I really, you know, I'm like Leonard, you know what I'm saying? What, you know, if it make you feel good, I'm all for it. But to address the issues of what you see in our community, ain't no hate involved in that. It's just saying that the obvious truth is that we are not teaching our children economics properly. We're not teaching them smart economics.
Mm-hmm.
We're not teaching them financial literacy. We have taught them as long as you make money, spend it and keep
Wow.
making enough money. We are teaching them to have 6 or 7 hustles so they can maintain a lifestyle. But we still ain't having a whole lot of conversations about Wall Street and investing and CDs.
Mm-hmm.
Or nor are we really even, I mean, it's showing in how what we're involved in. Because I say it all the time. There is no black economics without black politics, and we having a problem even getting involved in that.
Mm-hmm.
So how's the
Wow.
black economics going to work if we aren't even interested as a whole in black politics, which will the only thing that we can use that really help black economics,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
melanated economics. So I
Absolutely.
mean, you know, I mean, that was a good question that Badger asked, you know, but I just want to know how many people had these conversations about economics and Wall Street and investing when they were young. Who had a father or a grandfather that owned a business and were producers instead of consumers? They could sit down and say, hey, y'all, let me teach you the system of economics. Let me show you how business really works.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good
None
deal.
of us, probably.
Exactly. Exactly. Let me keep this thing going. We got Cassandra with us. Ibrahim, I see you, brother. You can put your hand. I see you, brother. I see you. I see you. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
We're asking a question about economics. Are we teaching our children properly? Are we teaching our children how to not just be consumers, but be entrepreneurs and go out there and be producers? Are we teaching our children the right things, Cassandra? What do you say to that in regards to economics?
Yeah, I think some are, but the fact is we're just coming to the realization of it, many of us ourselves, because I still have no idea about stock markets or anything like that, and I wasn't taught about it, had no idea about it. Even as I got older, I felt like it was a white thing, you know, and I didn't have money to sit and wait for it to mature. But I just didn't have it. I was trying to keep the lights on. I was trying to keep the gas on. I was trying to pay the rent. So I didn't have that money to do that with. For those that did, that's great. So I didn't have that to teach my children because I couldn't show them by example because I couldn't do it, you know? And I just want to address something that Badger said. And I've heard him say it a few times about white people poor white people not having the advantages that black people have or something, or that we could do we could get these grants and loans that they couldn't. If he would tell me some of those grants and loans, I'd like to know about them because I've tried to establish businesses and get loans probably the last 30 years with no
Positive
luck
result.
to it. So
Yeah.
if there are grants and loans, I would love for him to share that with me because
Can I hop in real fast?
and I've tried to do it for many years with no luck. Me and a whole bunch of other black women and men that I know as well, and we couldn't get the loans to start businesses.
Okay. Badger, you want to respond?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I know it's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
But as a kid, I did not.
Mm-hmm.
I took the time to pay attention and research to find out that no, all that crap was a lie. So that the reason I bring it up is that's what they try to teach younger people. Because I grew up around it, I still see it today. It's a lie, it's nonsense, it's illusions, it's separation tactics. None of that stuff is true.
Mm-hmm.
We all have the same amount of access to everything. So if I came across given the perception that that's what I believe, I do not, because I know better.
Good deal. Good deal. Let's keep this thing going. Ibrahim, you had your hand up, brother. Hold on, let me unmute you there. There you go.
You still got me muted, right? You hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Ibrahim.
Okay, good, great. You know, I think that again, I think that we're so convoluted and generalized economics, and we don't see right in your face what economic is. If you bought a summer trade something with your neighbor, then that's economics, right? As far as getting a grant, I think a grant is a horrible idea of getting money to take your business. If you look at the whole thing, the grant proposal and stuff, right? I think it's a horrible idea. But as far as loans and everything, loans is a horrible idea. If you're not already established, right? You're putting yourself into debt to try to make some money at a certain point. As far as the stock market is concerned and everything, let's look at the basics where it started off. It was stock. It was edible. It's food that drives the market, not just Bitcoins and all kind of paper and stuff like that. It's actually fueled by actual crops being produced in this country and around the world, if you want to look at it. And another thing is, and transference the money from these basic goods and needs is being sold and bought across the globe. I think if we look at a more basic sense, and number one, when we talk about white people, the Chinese, I knew a bunch of Vietnamese and all like that, right? And Jews and stuff. We talking about they so wealthy, right? But the average one of them just as poor as me and you, or maybe even poor. You know, Chinese are bought each other in slavery, and so does the Vietnamese. The Mexicans about the same way. It's only a core group of people that grow up to have this money. And white people, I was raised up around poor white people called Cabbage Town and stuff like that in Atlanta. And I was raised around a lot of wealthy black people. I mean, I was asking Berger a question. You consider yourself wealthy. You know, all white people are not wealthy. Some of them poorer than you, and they hate to see that you got. Some people hate to see you got more than they do. That's why the whole thing with racism come from. That's why Black Wall Street was attacked. That's why Atlanta was attacked in 1906. That's why in 1919 they attacked all the wealthy black communities around the world. In the 60s and 70s, they built interstate through the wealthy black communities, right? In all the major cities. So I ask you one thing. Why don't we stop, generalizing and get down to the basic, what an economic situation is? What is economics is basics, right? It's a transference of things, right? We're seeing a great transference of wealth right now, from the poor to the wealthy, right? What's all we seeing? We see people like P. Diddy now. They started out with hip hop.
30 seconds, Ibrahim.
Okay, they got billions of dollars now, but that's not the core how they built themselves. They started just as poor as me and you. Now, less than only 10% of the people inherit wealth now. Most of the wealth are generated from the people in their generation now. You can look up all statistics I say, and you can check that out. Less people are getting more this inherited wealth than it used to be. It's only 10%. The rest of the 90% are wealth that they created themselves.
Okay, good deal. Toya with a T, talk to me, sis.
Yeah. Economics involves so much. And I think that some of the examples we just talked about doesn't talk about us teaching it to our children. It's a wealth that they're just stumbling upon. So a lot of athletes that make a lot of money who were not taught economics. That's what we're talking about right now. We're talking about, are we teaching our kids economics?
Yes.
Not are we thrusting them into economic situations, or are they assuming and acquiring economic stability? That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, are we teaching them? And like Rico said, it's a lot of us who economically have failed because we had houses and we let them sit there and rot and didn't notice the importance of it, but still riding around on these raggedy cars that we're not taking care of, that fall apart, not able to be passed down to nobody. Economics has a large realm. Economically, the United States, the world almost came to a crash with COVID. Because what do you do when economics stop? All production stop, everything stop. And this is what we're talking about with economics. Like, okay, cool, your kid is a streamer, making a lot of money, but what are they doing with the money? Okay, they buy a house, but then what? Because if you're making $200,000 a year or a month, and all you want is a house, within a year, you still don't know what you're doing economically. MC Hammer ran through like 20 mil. He didn't know what he was doing economically, even though he had the economics. He had it in his pocket. People do it every day. Humans, grown folks, do it every day. What's that other one name? Evander. You know who got his house now? Because he didn't know that he wasn't taught economics. He just had money. Oh, yeah. And that's what we're talking about. Economically, no, we don't. Economically, we still stuck in this spell in America. Because if we look at economics, what does America produce? Oh, okay. Right. Jails, that's where our economics comes from, America.
Wow.
Not streaming.
That's true.
Not streaming. So when we talk about economics, we really got to talk about the rooter to the tutor with this right here, because there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. And so many of us humans are living in the middle of economics, so we really don't know it.
Exactly. Let me go to man. This is I'm enjoying the conversation. Let me go to Toussaint right now. Toussaint, what's on your heart, brother?
You know, the value and worth. And even to the point where some say dollar ain't worth nothing. That piece of paper that we be trying to get. So, the study of the social science that studies the production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. Now, we do more of consuming than a lot of people. We don't mind that part. But how about the production and the distribution of it? You know how I know gas is fuel is high. But I was talking to my son, and they was thinking about, in the trucking business, getting a Tesla truck instead of a diesel truck to operate and try to work the distributions, because in the distribution area and the movement of products and services, hard to get somebody. One thing about getting them, and I'm almost running. I watch my time. You can't get nobody to move it. You know why? Strange, broke people trying to find a job, but they got that one little old thing. After you put in the application, you got to pass the drug test. Hot tamale. You mean to tell me that I'm looking for a job and I'm enjoying life so much, and that one little high that I can't get there because I can't? So we talk about being independent. Well, I don't want them telling me what to do, and I just go out on my own.
30 seconds.
Well, government has, I know. Government has some rules too. So we don't know the value of things. Just saying.
Absolutely. Leonard, talk to me.
I was kind of waiting till you had moved on, because one, it's just economics is about decision making. And it's basically more important as it relates to scarcity, which a lot of people want to pretend that they don't understand. I don't know how y'all don't understand Wall Street when y'all been talking about the Black Wall Street for 100 years. I mean, I just don't understand this whole issue. Now, I understand collective economics, and anyone can come together and do what they would like. The magic is getting everybody to buy in. That's business. So some people are combining I believe what they feel is healthy and wealth and all that type of stuff with other people's desires. Any people can get together and start a business. You can do whatever you basically want. Young people are doing just that. They're not letting old race issues and things like that keep them from reaching their goals. If I want to be a doctor, I just go to school and be a doctor. I don't listen to people talking about what black people shouldn't be doctors, or black people shouldn't do, or black people don't do, black people don't. That's why they don't have those people who believe like that. That's why they ain't got nothing. But like one of the brothers just said, entrepreneurship. What is that? Y'all act like y'all don't see it. You don't see it? I mean, where y'all looking at where black people ain't doing nothing? And
But see,
you can't see.
my point is, let me pause your time. My point is this right here. And I understand what you're saying, economics and all that stuff. But are we teaching entrepreneurship? But are we teaching the children? Are the children learning so that it can continue? That's what
Yes, this is why they're doing the things that they're doing. What they're not doing is the way you want them to do it. Because most like these young people, you know, like I say, I know a young man who's about 13. He owned a restaurant. He's always trying to get my son involved, but my son has no interest towards that. You understand what I'm saying? I guess it's because, you know, working with youth and going to schools and all these programs and things like that, that's what they're teaching kids. That's why these kids are so much more successful than their parents ever were, especially children from poor households.
Where are they getting it from?
They're taking advantage of the opportunities presented to them. While you talking about they not being taught this in school, you ever been up there?
Yeah.
Do you ever
Actually,
do
I have.
homework with your child? Then you will see them being taught these concepts. Now, what you do with it, that's different. That is completely different.
30 seconds left.
You can know everything about economics. And still, if you are the type of person that don't care nothing about money, you're not going to have a pile of it. See, people who got a lot of money care about money, having a pile of it. That's why they build that pile. But if you don't want to, I don't fault you for that. And back to reading my messages, Raheem, that I put in the private chat. I'm not going to denigrate my people this way.
I don't know if that's what's actually happening right now. I don't know if I agree with that part of it. But let me keep this thing going. Let me go to Cassandra. Cassandra, what's on your heart? Cassandra?
On the economics part, I mean, really nothing, because like I said, you know, I have spent my life working very hard, and a lot of times when I've tried to establish businesses over the years, it has always been a problem. It is because money, I just don't have the money like that. And like I said, the gentleman talked about grants. Grants, you don't pay back grants. So grants is something that I definitely would be interested in, but it's so many people filing for grants, especially grants that are targeted toward minority communities, because I just put in for one last night. We don't pay that money back. So yes, I definitely would love to have a grant to do the work that I do. But there are so many of us trying to get the few grants that are out there that it's hard to do. But as far as, you know, teaching our children, you know, I've tried my grandchildren, I've tried to direct them into entrepreneurship, which and independence in that area. And it seems like they're getting it. They're doing, in a lot of respects, they're doing better than I am.
Wow, that's good. That's good. This is, and like I said again, this is a topic right here, man. That's wide open. It's wide open. There's so much that we could cover in this, especially with the children. Captain, what's on your heart?
Well, I think for everyone, maybe not everyone, but I think a couple things they used to have in the schools, and I'm sure that the women on here can bear witness, what they call home ec, right?
Yes.
They don't have home ec. What is home ec? Home economics. They don't have those things in school no more. So we had to create our own training mechanism of of economics. And you know what we did? We had a game called Monopoly. Every one of us know that you played Monopoly. That in Monopoly is a great science of economics because it's teaching you how to buy and what to buy.
Mm-hmm.
And the more more hotels you put on your property, the more value. And those who either land on your property, they be wishing, oh my God, let me roll these dice and get past Leonard's property. Leonard may own Broadwalker, Park Avenue, New York Avenue. I'm coming around the bend. If I land on that, I'm out of business.
Mm-hmm.
So we learn through Monopoly, the more you have, the more power and control you have on that board. Every
Mm-hmm.
poor person had Monopoly. And what we learned was economics, but we didn't transfer that learning of playing that game. I did. I recognized the value of real estate from Monopoly. I
Mm-hmm.
recognized that the property that looked cheap was the property that you can get to put up the value. So we did have economics, but it was done in a game board. And I agree with Brother Leonard. Young people, they know economics, but at the again 10, I'm gonna say to Professor Leonard, but they need guidance. I don't
Yes.
care what young people do, you still got to guide them.
Mm-hmm.
You still got to be there because they not gonna make good. Y'all think all the rappers own them homes? Let me tell you something. I know them. I know most of the rappers. They lease it. They're
Mm-hmm.
big old houses. They are just like, man, I'm not gonna buy that for $3 million. I need my money. And then you can lease it for $400, $4,500 a month or $5,000 a month, $6,000. Well, let me do that because I don't know if I'm gonna stay there. So you get to think that they got something, they don't have nothing. They
Mm-hmm.
give the illusion that they got wealth. And let me tell you what wealth is. Wealth is not being able to stack up money, but if I live in a community that everything in that community serves me, I can get the cheap bread. I can get the butcher cheap. I got in a house that I bought that was owned by my brother, and he landed, and it's cheap. Everything. So you don't need a whole lot of wealth, but you want to live a wealthy life. And you can live a wealthy life without having a whole lot of mass wealth. Thank you.
Exactly. Good deal. Good deal. Man, wealth. I was going to make a turn, but I'm not going to do that. Let's stay where we are. I was going to transition a little bit. Let me go to Willa. Willa, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem. I am doing so fine this morning.
Good deal. Good to have you, sis. We're talking about wealth, economics, and are we in our community teaching our children the proper economics so that they can move forward and make a difference? What do you say?
I'm just gonna go from my experience, Raheem, because my son, my youngest son, he talks about that all the time now because he's trying to build his own business, and he was, I didn't teach them about credit, how important credit was, or anything like that, because my focus was on trying to provide just the simple, essential things for them. I wasn't thinking about the future things that they would need, like credit and how to have good credit and how. But one thing I can honestly say I did do was when they got their first job, I tried to get them a bank account because at 16 you could get a bank account with your co-signature. And then after that, allow them to save their own money. So I never really got into it, not because you got to be careful. I'm not that kind of person. Not saying that I want to be wealthy or not wealthy, because when you have money, that gives you freedom to be independent. But you got to be careful when you talk about money because it can take other people different places with the way they think.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my opinion on it right now, Raheem.
Good deal. Good deal. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
See, I'm closer to the way with what Leonard's saying. Because I guess because I'm surrounded by so many young people that are gamers, entrepreneurs, and all kinds of things. And yeah, some of them have said that, they didn't learn it from their parents. They learned it from the internet. They learned it from school, because there are states that part of the curriculum is economics and personal finance. So they also acknowledge that the grants and loans are hard to get. So they've learned how to survive, because they've observed a lot of us, who have struggled, and things like that, of what not to do. So I honestly don't think that the younger generation is as not productive as some of the older generation does. I actually think they're more productive, because a lot of times they're the ones that are, working hard with the economics and things like that. So I guess that's honestly why I have the perspective that I do, is because of the ones I'm around. And don't get me wrong, there's also young people that have no idea. Now, if we want to talk about just them, a lot of that's going to boil down to the parents and where they live. If they live in a state where they don't teach it, and their parents aren't teaching them, yes, they're not going to be that good at it, if at all, unless they take, once they get old enough, or even when they're younger, probably listen to a friend at school or something that's telling them, hey, I'm learning how to do this and this, from a YouTube video or from TikTok or something of that nature. Because the amount of people that's on TikTok and YouTube and Twitch and things like that today that are teaching people for free how to work the system with laws, with bank accounts, with Wall Street, with all kinds of things like that. And to me, they have more access to that kind of knowledge than, shoot, even I did in school. And I was taught economics in school.
Good
But
deal.
today, oh man, as long as if they have the internet, you can look up just about anything.
Wow. That's good. Anybody? I want to move on to my next topic. Anybody have anything they want to add to this before we close it out?
Yeah, man, I think that's huge what he just said. And I think it's, just imagine this. Who would have thought they would have been able to make a living playing games? Just to know that even exists now, goes to show you that they really have more opportunities to become entrepreneurs, because somebody found a way to use those people and their popularity in gaming to market the products of producers, to market other people's products. So, I think it's big that we understand that a lot of this is still from conditions that were created in the past. And Toya made a big point. I was glad she brought it up, because they slipped my mind. She brought up Evander Holyfield and Mike Tyson and MC Hammer. And I was thinking, I meant to say this on the last comment. It took all of these years before somebody like Oscar De La Hoya or Floyd Mayweather finally, as bosses, found a way to make money economically and efficiently without having to be in the ring all the time, or to make more money off of their fights and off of their product, what they produce, compared to other people that never had even put a glove on or strapped up their boots and got in the ring. But look how long it took for them to figure that out. Out of all these bosses that kept on getting ripped off by promoters, and all of these rappers and people in contracts to get ripped off and don't realize that all that money went to pay for everything they did, and the record labels kept look how long it took. The things that you have to go through to actually protect yourself and learn how to function in this economic system that may involve contracts with writing in small print. So it goes back to what we were saying a second ago. Many of us weren't taught that. We weren't taught economics at a young age. We had to look up and maybe get interested in it. And maybe somebody opened the door and put us on game. But it's a big difference between an entrepreneur and somebody that is financially literate. Because we have a history of people getting very wealthy. And then in the end, nobody in the family benefiting from it because they didn't have a will.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they signed a contract or gave somebody else power of attorney. Or well, there's so many different things that people have got tricked out of their money. Or maybe they just didn't even think about generational wealth. They just were thinking about making money to spend money.
And Rico,
Now,
to
yeah,
your
they
point,
do
Rico.
know economics, but do they know literacy?
And Rico, to your point, brother, what about all the people that's won the lottery, that scratched off a ticket or played a number and became multimillionaires, and
That's
6 months later or whatever the case, all the money's gone because they did not
Yep.
know.
Exactly.
Understand economics.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And not to that, you know what, Raheem, we have a tendency of doing as people because it's us and through our eyes and our local environment. You know, it's like it explains to the world. And I was talking to somebody about guys one day. He made me change my perspective because I'm like, you know, oh, guys are this and guys are this and guys are that. And he's like, Toya, you met every guy? And I'm like, no. He's like, so stop saying all.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 270 million men. And you met what? 1,000 of them?
Mm-hmm.
And so we got this tendency of knowing the 1,000 people around us and making that 1,000 represent the 300 million.
Mm-hmm.
We got to stop that.
Exactly. Anybody else before we jump off economics and go to another topic? Anybody have anything on their heart before
That
we
was
move
beautiful, Toya.
Yeah. I'm just
Go ahead.
Patrick.
No,
I was just telling Toya that was a beautiful statement.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was profound what Toya just said. That was profound because we have a tendency to use what's crazy is that we have a tendency to use the 1% that is failing to represent the 99%, but then do not use the 1% that is succeeding to represent the 99%.
Mm-hmm.
Right? A lot of times it's because we want to paint our own personal narrative as to what everybody else is doing. Now, I do know some that are doing major things. The problem is they're young and they don't understand that, okay, in everything that's going on, you're going to have to take risk, and 9 times out of 10, you're going to fail. So the observation of what kind of entrepreneur they're going to be and where they are economically is what happens when their businesses fail. Do they see it through, or do they just walk away from the table? But that still does not negate from the fact that there is what you call access. If you have to address economic understanding from the perspective of access. Is everybody being allowed the opportunity and access, and that was stupid, opportunity and access to the same economical advances? They're not. I'll finish with this. A prime example is our former president. Our former president brought up, and Cap probably can help me with this because Cap's up there. He bought up a bunch of property in New York City using grant money. He bought up a bunch of property in New York City using grant money. The story is, guess what he did? He took, because he had a level of wealth, his daddy, I believe his daddy gave him like $10 million. He took that very same money, paid for the access, and paid for people, Cassandra's grant to not even be looked at. You understand? So automatically, Cassandra's grant
30 seconds
went on somebody's desk.
Mm-hmm.
Where his grant, that's it. I ain't got nothing else to say.
Finish your thought, brother.
I think people. Yeah, I ain't got nothing else to say. I think people can understand it from there.
Okay,
You
gotcha.
paid for access.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay, let's keep this thing going. I'm gonna go. Everybody's done with that part of it. We're gonna go to our second topic, or actually our main topic for the day. Cassandra, if everybody's done, I'm gonna come to you, and I want to ask you this question. Cassandra, you there?
Yes.
Yes,
do,
I am.
do you still believe in the spirit of love? Do you still believe that it can heal anything, heal and overcome anything?
Raheem, if I didn't, I couldn't make it. I'll be totally honest.
Mm,
If I did not believe in the spirit of love, I could not make it. I couldn't continue to function, especially in the world that we're in right now.
mm-hmm.
And I mean that like from family love to friendship love, and hopefully even at my age one day I would love to be married again,
Mm-hmm.
because I truly believe in love. You know, it's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm hoping that I'll have that experience again before I leave this side.
Wow. Wow. Willa, do you still believe in the spirit of love? Do you still believe that it can heal anything?
Raheem, I most certainly do, but I just got to say this. By itself, you can't do it. You have to have the Holy Spirit to help you through it, because that's when you said it heals anything,
Mm-hmm.
because we need that in order to help us do that, because there are a lot of things, Raheem, that are mean, wicked, and evil
Mm-hmm.
that my flesh says, I don't care how much I love you, I'm not going to forgive you.
Mm.
You hear that all the time. I
Mm-hmm.
don't care what you did. I'm not going to forgive you ever. That's
Wow.
because they don't have that second resource to help them do that.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have the Holy Spirit connected to that. That's the power that says to you that to forgive, because it leads us, guides us, directs us. And we only get the Holy Spirit through the Word of God. So, yes, love will do it, but not alone.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Wow.
alone, Raheem.
Wow.
Not alone.
Good deal. Good deal. Captain, what did you say to that? Do you still believe in the spirit of love? Can it still heal anything?
Oh, no question. No question, man. You know, love is a universal principle. Excuse me.
Captain,
Love
you
is
there?
love is a universal principle that binds human beings together. It transcends. Love transcends color. Love transcends race. Love transcends religion. Love
Mm-hmm.
transcends gender.
Come
It
on.
is the only universal thing that we can hold on to. If we lose the spirit of love,
Mm.
we dead. We
Yes.
dead.
Come on. Come on.
There's no life, man.
Mm.
Every day, everything, I'm motivated. I'm motivated. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm motivated by love.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at my life, at my wife, who I love,
Yes.
who I love. When I look at, I'm getting out the bed, I'm looking at, I'm motivated by love to make sure she don't have to want nothing
Mm-hmm.
because I love her. When I
Yes.
look at my community, I'm motivated by love that I want to give everything I got to transform a community where we are loving each other and not hating each other. I'm motivated by love.
Mm-hmm.
Without
Wow.
love, what do we have?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, man. That is a question that has an easy answer.
Yes.
If we don't have love, without love, we have nothing. You
Mm-hmm.
can have all the wealth in the world. Without love, you got nothing.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Yes, sir.
thank you for answering the question.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely. Toussaint, do you still believe, brother, in the spirit of love? Can it still heal everything?
There was an old song said it can conquer anything.
Mm-hmm.
Anything. Oh yeah, got to.
Mm.
If I didn't, might as well quit.
Yeah.
Give up. I'm on the wrong road.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't believe in love. Because the ultimate love is, and I know, even on this Christian broadcast, some people say, oh, there we go with that again, the love of God.
Mm-hmm.
What it's all about. And we concentrate on the wrong thing. That's why we can't share it.
Mm-hmm.
The negative. I don't even entertain negativity.
Yeah.
I don't even entertain it. Somebody starts that conversation, I just move on. Because Um, the definition of what love is takes a little patience and kindness. It's not boastful, not proud. Don't buff itself up. It don't make itself unseemly. It don't act kind of crazy. Love don't do that. Love is kind of like a calm. It's not forceful.
Yes.
Because you can't make a person love you, but
That's
you
right.
can show the person that hates you love.
Come on. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, you know, you can love a person that they, even when they don't like you. Love has a way of making them, or he'll make them prepare a table before you. That's something.
In the presence of thine enemies. Wow. Wow.
Mm.
Toya with a T, talk to me. Says, do you still believe in the spirit of love? Can it still heal anything? The spirit of love.
Absolutely. I know it. I saw it happen right in front of my eyes. I am an example of it. You know, I'm an example of it. You know, anybody ever had like an animal, well, like an animal that get hurt or wounded, and you do what? It's back to life. Even a baby, premature. Only thing you got to do, even though they've been in the hospital, but before hospital was even here, we lived miraculously. And I believe that it was through love. And if we look at our human writings, our human collection of things that we've learned over time to not, you know, to understand the things we do as humans, there's a belief that scientific studies have shown that being in love causes our body to release feel-good hormones. It has neurochemical tendencies that it triggers to help in a positive way on top of that. And it increases the same thing you're talking about with these video games, levels of dopamine, adrenaline, and I can't pronounce that word, nor whatever that green is another one to help flow positive emotions. So of course it can. You know what I'm saying? Just from not only from a scientific point of view, but from an everyday point of view. Everybody on this line know that love changes things, because soon as something goes wrong where you are with your kids, with your parent, with your friend, with your cousin, and they're in that disarray, and you show them that love, whether they're sick and you take care of them and nurture them and bring them water and soup, that is love. It ain't the soup that made them well. God loves us so much, we got the power to be healed. But when you got more than one with in abundance, you get it all. And I think that's what we take for granted. That's why love is the best. Love can raise people from the dead.
Yes.
You understand me? Love can help you take care of kids you think you can take care of. Love, I love you even when you don't love yourself. Because I'm telling y'all right now, 4 years ago when I had internal bleeding, went to the hospital, and they said, you ain't got no insurance, go home and die. I didn't even love myself at that time. But God loved me so much. He showed me the healing power in myself without man. So I now know that love don't come from man, it comes from God. And healing don't come from man, it comes from God. Over a shot, over a mask, over a bullet, over a fall off a building. So when we humans get in alignment with what real love is and the power of it and what we can do, we can save the world. Same way God saved us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Curtis, are you with us, brother? Curtis, are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Curtis, do you still believe in the spirit of love, brother? Do you still believe in the spirit of love? Do you still believe that it can heal anything, Curtis?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there's a spirit of hate out here, so why wouldn't I believe in the spirit of love? There's love is the most, you know, I read Einstein's letter like once a month. And I keep throwing this out every time we get on this conversation. Everybody needs to read Einstein's letter to his daughter, Defining Love, because it not only scientifically tells you how powerful love is, it spiritually tells you how powerful love is, and it actually physically tells you not only how powerful love is, but the purpose of love. You just got to read the letter for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I believe in the spirit of love.
Wow. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. We're asking right now, do you still believe in the spirit of love? Can it still heal anything? Leonard, what do you say to that, brother?
Well, I don't think from your perspective, no. I don't, when I think about it, because, love is very different for different people, different things. I've heard people talk about how much they love somebody, turn around.
Why your volume a little bit low, brother? What happened?
Well, I didn't do nothing different.
Okay, go ahead.
Some people are different with love. I think sometimes love is taken out of context. It's great. It's very romantic. We've lived with the phrase "love conquers all." No, it don't. No, it doesn't. We have too many. We have far too many examples. And like, say, for instance, one of the things that I struggle with as a Christian is one particular scripture involving love, and that is loving mine enemies, because I don't. No, I don't. I don't see no way for me to, unless I just choose to be oblivious to their hatred towards me. But some people take love out of context and they use it for things to manipulate people. Love ain't always positive. Love can be a trap.
Wow. I don't.
Now, when you talk about love, I speak of God's love. That's different to me. I don't know about everybody else. God's love has nothing to do with some of the things that people call love here. I talk about, when I hear about all this, when we were talking about other situations, I don't know nobody loved me enough to pay my mortgage. Do you?
I do.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all great. Y'all good people then.
Yeah.
I can't depend on other.
One at a time, y'all.
You know what? If God bless me like that, man, like if he really blessed me like that, everybody that's on this panel will never work again in life unless they wanted to.
And I believe Kurt
and I think
is that type of person.
I think that's
one at a time.
I think that's why the devil always come in between when I'm ready to get blessed. Like he do everything he can to come in between that, because he knows that if I am truly blessed, everybody that is in my circle that I love, that I believe in, I will bless them as well, because I'm not a greedy person. So in terms of love, I love you just that much, brother. And I'm going to say this right now. I don't care who's listening. I love you just that much, Leonard, that if I got blessed like that, I promise you, unless you wanted to do, you would never have to work again. Raheem would never have to work again. Cassandra would never have to work again. Rico would never have to work again. Cap would never have to work again. Toya would never have to work again. Everybody on this show, everybody except for Charles. I'm not going to bless that.
Lord. On that note, we're going to stop right there. Hold on.
Hold on.
Hold on.
I love him too. I love him too.
I was gonna say.
But see, my thing. I'm coming to you. I heard you, Badger. But my thing is this right here. Maybe I have a sickness or something like that. But I really believe in the spirit of love, man. And I believe, and everybody have to feel the way that they feel, but I believe that it can heal all things. And we that profess ourselves to be Christian and Christ-like, even at that part of his end, before he came back, and he was on the cross, and it was doing the terrible things that they was doing to him. He said, forget. He even had so much love still in his heart. He still has so much love in his heart. The spirit of love was still on him so much. He said, forgive them, Father. The people that was taking them out, he said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. They don't know what they're doing. Forgive them.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
That's love right there. You can't tell me that ain't love. And somebody's killing you, and you say a prayer in the time of them trying to kill you. You say a prayer for the very people that's killing you, and you say, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. They have no idea. They have no idea what they're doing. That's love. That's the spirit of love, man. And yes, that can heal everything. Yes, I believe. That's just me. Just me. I believe it can heal everything. That's just me talking. Rico, talk to me, brother.
I believe the spirit of love exists, but I don't think it exists in everybody. You know, I guess I sort of agree with what Leonard is saying, because people love in different ways. You know, some people love to molest children, or like to see if they can sneak up on people and kill them and leave a trail of bodies, and wonder who's gonna find out if they did it or not. They love doing that. It might be sick, might be deviant, might have a mental problem, but at the same time, they love doing it. So, you know, I think the spirit of love exists in the way that you say, but it doesn't exist in everybody, or everybody doesn't have that same spirit of love. Does it heal anything? I believe in miracles. I believe miracles have happened, but I also know in a great number of cases, love don't heal cancer, or it don't reverse brain, people being brain dead. Now that would be a heck of a miracle for somebody to have no brain activity, to be considered essentially brain dead. And then the love of God and everybody else in his family or her family that loves them brings back activity.
I think
that would be a heck of a spirit of love. But I think it can heal anything that can hurt the heart, but I don't think it can heal everything that a man goes through.
See,
every wound, every injury.
Let me pause your time for a second there, Rico. I think we're teetering on two different things here, because to say that one thing and then try to tie it in with another. I don't think that a person love for wanting to do harmful things and hurtful things to I don't think that lines up with the kind of love that we're talking about right now. I think that's something different. They may have a desire, but to say that that's love, I love this person, or I think that's just a little bit different. But that's just me talking. Rico, hold on, let me start your time back up. Ready? There you go.
It is different, you know what I'm saying? Because obviously you don't love that person. You just love the reward. You love the feeling and the emotion that you're getting from doing this to this person. But that still is a certain type of love. You know, so that's why I say that spirit of love that you're talking about, I do believe that it exists and it's out there if you want to love that way. But I don't think it exists in everybody.
I see. Toya, you reacting over there. Toya, what's on your heart, sis?
Going to the church so that the pastor can work together with you for you to be completely free. However, before I had my interaction with God, I used to think like that. Can you really do that, God? Can you really heal people? Can you really, those miracles, it never happened to me. Can that really happen? And until I went to some human doctors who get paid to help me and got sent home, I learned what real love was. But it was because God showed me himself. It wasn't left up to man. I have been in situations where I've been hit as a woman, and I done been in situations where I done swung on a couple of them because I'm the head of this household. And I had love in me, but I'm here to tell you that was not true love. We get love misconstrued because you're not going to be lying, cheating, robbing, stealing, molesting, raping, and then, because you love to do that, I'm supposed to take that as an example of love. No, we got to cut that out right now. Somebody going upside your head. They can put a roof over your head. They can feed you. They can clothe you. But if they're doing bad, evil, wicked things to you, robbing, stealing, cheating, lying, that ain't love. That is wickedness. So if you love wickedness, then so be it. We're talking about a good God's love. So again, see, when God did his thing with me, that disregards anything any human on this earth got to say. Because I know to my bone and my core, it is God's love, which is all in us, that healed me. When I was helping a guy, my ex. He was not talking after he had his stroke. Dead, dumb, mute, couldn't do nothing but to sit there and stare around and look at the air. And I saw my obedience bring that. Now, he ain't 100, but he 85. He got little one of these right here. But he talking, he walking, and he eating. He is alive. And doctors told him he wasn't going to walk up out of there in 6 weeks. And I said, we rebuke you. And me and my dude was walking. And it was a lot of days he got on my nerves. And he wouldn't have even done it for me. I know he didn't have that same love for me, but I saw God in that relationship. And from that right there, I know without a shadow of a doubt, I don't care how many of you humans, how long you went to jail, went to school, how long you've been living, or how long you've been a pastor or a preacher. From my experience and what me and my God has been through, I know that is real, no matter what nobody says on here. So that love we talking about, loving to rob somebody, loving to molest, that's the wrong kind of love, y'all. Don't fall for it. It's not love.
Badger?
I'm kind of on the same page. It's I've survived death too many times. And, many people have said to me, God wanted me here for a reason. So people can, in my opinion, can miscue what love is. The heart and the mind are two different things. And a lot of times the mind gets in the way. So because there's a lot of people that think wealth is going to buy you happiness. And it's not until a person learns that how you treat yourself in your relationship with the Great Spirit, God, whatever you call them, there's a different version, type, whatever terminology or word usage a person wants to choose, of what is love. Because I grew up thinking love was being abused and just obeying. That's just what I was supposed to do. Now I know different. So, and have a better understanding of what love is. But the illusion I had of what it was not that good. Sometimes I would rather have been hated if that's what love was.
Wow.
Because to me, being hated felt better than what the type of love they said they had. So this is going to be one of those topics where people are going to have their personal opinions and views. And depending on belief system, personal experiences of understanding, or how to view what it is.
30 seconds, Badger.
So in essence, it's what are you asking? What the definition of it is, or a person's perception?
No, the spirit. Do you still believe? Not necessarily the definition. Do you still believe in the spirit of love? Do you still believe that it can heal anything, regardless of what it is? Do you believe in the spirit of love? Captain, talk to me.
Well, I like Professor Leonard's giving us his view, and he's absolutely right. When we were to go, I didn't think we was trying to define love, because there's real love and there's fake love. And he said it real. I thought he was a loveless dude when he was talking. I said, what kind of man is this? He ain't got no love. But he said he got God's love. That's the original love.
Yes.
And I thought that's what we was talking about. Because there is no, wait, look at this. What do you call sex? Now today they go straight and say, let's F-U-C-K. But we used to say, let's make love. And they call it making love. Is they really making love? Heck to the no. Heck to the no. They ain't making love. You don't make love that way. Who told anybody that's the recipe of making love? Hey, you know how to make love? No. Let's take your clothes off. I take my clothes off, and I'm gonna show you how we're gonna make some love. Well, that could it be bringing forth a child? I don't know. So we can't get tripped up on trying to define love and what love meaning. Let's stick to God's law of love. If we stay there, then we all can agree. We already know this crazy love. I'm on the beach. This is what Martin Luther King said when he was marching. We're going to love you more than you can beat us. Now, I'm like, my man, Professor Leonard, man, I'm sorry. I can't get with that kind of love. I'm sorry, Martin. I feel you, brother. But I'm not going to love them more than they can beat me. Get out of here. But the principle is what Reverend Martin was talking. The principle that he was nonviolent, and love is nonviolent. The kind of love we're talking about is the kind of love that will make a mother lift up a damn truck with her babies up under it. Where did she get the power to do that? Love. A lion or a bear. This bear grabbed that woman's baby, man. A bear, they had a video. Man, that mama was going toe to toe with the bear for her baby. That's that kind of love. My baby in that burning house. Ma'am, you can't. She run into a burning building for her baby. Man, we talking about that kind of love. We talking about all that weak love. I love you, baby. And you know, I just thought we was talking about God's love.
Yes.
And I thank you, brother. Professor, you right. I'm like you. If we ain't talking about God love, we ain't talking about nothing else. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Exactly. Cassandra?
Yeah, I just want to, I'm just going to be listening. I'm getting ready to go into my doctor's office.
Okay. You don't want to comment on the spirit of love before you go in?
I've already said, I've already said my part. I believe in it. I strongly believe in it. And when we talked about, I'm telling Leonard and everybody else here, and I mean this from my heart, and that may be why I don't have wealth, because I probably give it all away. That's what my daughter says. She said, Mama, if you had money, you just like you do now, you give when you ain't got. But that's just my heart. I mean, I love people, and I can't stand to see someone suffer, and I can do something, to help it. That's love. That's to me is the agape love of God, and I feel like I have that towards people.
Yes, absolutely. 508.
All except Charles.
There you
Charles.
go.
I'm
See?
just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm messing.
508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input as to what we're talking about today, and asking the question: do you still believe in the spirit of love? Do you still believe that it can heal anything? Willa, talk to me.
Yes, Rodney. Yes, like I said earlier, you need that second resource. But I know today, because I heard Rico mention that he didn't know of it to heal cancer. But we know God is love, right? And that's just a lady right now that's still living, honest to God. The doctor told her family to come to the hospital because she had cancer. She was getting ready to die. This lady's living right now. The family went out there and prayed in that family room, and that lady is living right now. I got her phone number. She's called the healer. That's what I call her. But I'm just saying that God can do anything. When you believe it, God can do anything. And that's what I believe so much in my heart. And another thing, you were talking about love. When you talk about love, people can love but have certain characteristics that doesn't represent the love that we're talking about. Example, you're in a marriage. Say your wife you love her, but you go out and you cheat on her. Then you come back and the first thing you say is, well, no, I love you. And then tell her and stab her with a dagger. But then she loves you so much that she takes you back. See, so now you're looking at certain kinds of love, characteristics of love. People can love, but there are so many weak things about them that does not represent the love that we're talking about. But it's still love. And that's my example on love.
Good deal. Okay, we got somebody trying to call me on the thing here. I don't know who that is trying to call me. Somebody trying to call in, but We'll get with them in just a second. Let me go to Ibrahim. Ibrahim, you there? Ibrahim? Ibrahim, go ahead, brother. We can hear you. You're muted. Talk, Ibrahim. Okay, it's something on your end, brother. You're not muted on this end here. Something going on. Yeah, something going on with your end, brother. Something going on with your end. Don't know what it is, but work that out and I'll come back to you. Toy, you want to talk to me, sis?
Yeah, different point of views, man. That's why we gotta have a standard. That's why we gotta have something to measure this against, because different people, we just got different perceptions, different point of views, different cultures can help us have different understandings on what love is or what love is supposed to be. Listen, before I went to beat that boy side his head, I did it because he put his hands on me. He beat me with a belt, right? And I was with this light-skinned girl, and I used to notice she used to always hit on her boyfriends. And she told me, well, Toya, I don't feel loved if my man don't hit me. Well, now listen. I didn't come from that kind of background. My father explained to me, I'm your daddy. I'm the only one that's going to discipline you. You don't let nobody hit you. And that's how I roll. So I automatically was like, yo, I don't want that kind of love. Like I'm good on that. Right. And that's why he got beat upside his head back. Because you're not going to put your hands on me talking about you love me, you like me, and think you finna get away with it when I'm finna lure you to jail and I'm going to handle my business. So I think that different perceptions and different concepts allow some humans to have a different, even distorted, oh, I love my white power so much, they're going to get anything that I want. They're going to get all the grants. They're going to get all the good health care. And before I let them take over, I'd rather kill them all to preserve my white race. That ain't love, y'all. It's sick, distorted, demented, backwards mental behaviors that should not be linked to what true love is. We got to find a way to have a way to show people what is true love and how it can be measured and how you're going on the right path. Because right now, in this world, we got some misconstrued visions of love.
In this world, there's much confusion. Ibrahim, can I hear you, brother? Can't hear you. I don't know what you got going on over there, brother. Can't hear nothing you're saying. I see your lips moving, but I can't hear nothing you're saying. Learn to talk to me, brother.
Yeah, like what Toya said, it's so subjective, and God's love is the supreme love. To minister and things like that, I can't. My love ain't about nothing. My love ain't about nothing. God's love is a truly amazing type of love.
Yes.
And people throw this word around like it's just this, that, and the other. You can tell if somebody love you not by how they treat you. Period. Point. There's no exception to that particular rule. You love me, how you treat me, how you treat other people. That type of love is what's important. You were talking about God's love, and I'm too small to believe that I have more love than God for anyone.
Wow.
I can like when I hear these some preachers preach, you can tell when a preacher ain't about nothing because he don't never preach about love. He don't never preach about joy. If he ain't preaching about that, I'm not gonna sit there. Because God is love. Yes. Without exception, God is love.
Absolutely.
See, with y'all, listen, is there's conditions. You talked about Jesus on the cross, and you not Jesus. You ain't got that kind of love for nobody.
I don't know about that now.
And nobody ever should get that twisted. I know a lot of people in the church and in their Christianity and their religion believe as such. But you playing games with yourself. Now we can move towards the goal. But there's no greater love than God's love for us. Nothing. And it says that repeatedly, time after time. That's why you should love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and your soul, because that's the safest place for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the place that'll never let you down. We can talk about love, do this and love, do that. There's plenty of people in the cemetery that was loved by everybody around. Plenty of people get sick, everybody around them love them, everything. Yes, there are studies, this, studies, that, whatever, but don't take love, God's power that way and try to put it in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Your hand can't even hold it long enough to talk about what you know about it.
Somewhere I read, and got 30 seconds. Somewhere I read it says, "Greater works that I do is greater love that I have, so shall you." If you only have faith and different things of that sort. And so, to say that I don't have, I can only speak for me. I can't speak for nobody else, but I do love people in a certain way that's different than the way that other people. I see other people loving them. People tell me, I give people so many different chances and blah, 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 blah. It's all because of love. With love and kindness have I drawn thee. I say it all the time. With love and kindness have I drawn thee. I live by those words, man. I really do. Ibrahim, can I hear you? Can I hear you? You're not muted on this end, brother. You're not muted on this end, brother. I can't hear you. Badger, you was about to say something?
Yeah. I'm like that also. I love people too much sometimes. Well, I'm saying the word too much. I want to treat people the way I was never treated, with openness and kindness and everything I can possibly do. But I've also learned that there are times where to show them love, you have to let them fall on their face. And that's hard. But it's part of learning. It's part of teaching us what love in a relationship really is. To know that even if you fall flat on your face, you're still going to have someone there that's going to help lift you up. It's a different style of thinking that not as common anymore. So it's just there's a lot there.
Yeah, there's a whole lot there. Rico, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart? Rico, you there? Rico might be away from the phone for a second. Captain, what's on your heart?
Man, I'm really enjoying the conversation. I used to watch the Wild Wild West, Jim Gordon. And he had an enemy. His name was Dr. Lovelace. I was looking at Professor Leonard. I was getting ready to call him Dr. Lovelace. I said, man, you Dr. Lovelace, dude. But now I got a new title for you, Professor. You Reverend Professor Leonard. Now I'm gonna keep adding time with you because you Reverend. He was breaking the script. He was showing how can you be a preacher and you don't preach love? You preaching prosperity. And you absolutely right. But the Bible also say there's no greater love have he than he who's willing to lay down his life.
Come on.
For his brother or his friend.
Yes.
I didn't say that. For the Christians in your Bible, it's not. There's certain surahs in the Holy Quran that I can show you. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, he asked the minister one day, he said, brother, what is love? And Brother Farrakhan said he gave him this old, generic love. He said, no, brother. Love is freedom, justice, and equality.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
If you love something, brother, you want to see it free. If you love something, brother, you want to make it equal and not make one superior subordinate to one inferior.
Mm-hmm.
Love something, you want to make sure you give it justice. He said, brother, love is freedom, justice, and equality. Now, I'm going to lean on that note. Thank you, brother, for giving me the opportunity to say that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Willow, what's on your heart, sis?
Raheem,
Yes.
when we talk about love, and I was sitting up there thinking, the definition of love is one sacrifice of oneself to another. So when you really, really and truly understand what love is, and just like a lot of things that Leonard said and Rico said, a lot of other people said, sometimes they use that word love to benefit themselves in a bad way. But when you really know what love is, love to conquer an abundance of things. You got to do something to do that. When I was talking about that extra source that you need in order to allow you to do those things. Because Raheem, we can't do it by ourselves.
Yes.
We can't.
Absolutely.
We can't. There's not one thing in the Bible. If I believe one thing in the Bible, I got to believe it all. He tells me in Matthew chapter 22, 37 to 40. He said to love you with all your heart and soul, and you do your neighbor the same way. That means everybody. How you gonna believe that God wants you to do that, but you can't do your neighbor like that, even when he does you wrong? So that's when that Holy Spirit comes in, and it ain't gonna say it's gonna happen right away. Nothing happens right away, but God knows your heart. If you're working towards forgiving somebody you can't forgive, God already knows that. So that's what real love is. When he said on that cross, forgive them, for they know not what they do. He tells us that all the time.
Absolutely.
All the time. We have to forgive people because sometimes they don't know what they're doing.
Exactly.
And that's on my heart.
That's good. That's good. Ibrahim, can we hear you, brother?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, there you go. I don't know what you did, but you did right that time. I don't know what you was doing earlier.
Good. I don't know what happened.
But listen, we're talking about the spirit of love. Do you still believe in the spirit of love? Ibrahim, can it still heal anything?
I believe that's just a construct that we try to put together to understand love. We talk about God's love, but that's in our construct. Love is a very selfish thing. When you tell a person you love them, you're not telling them because they exist. You're telling them because they do something that you feel that brings love to you, And I've heard different people try to come up with different incidents, like the mother that pulls the car off a child, a little skinny 90-pound woman. I've also just recently, a woman killed 3 old children, tried to kill all of them in a house, So love cannot be identified the way we're trying to identify it,
Let me pause your time for a second here.
Okay, go ahead.
Are we putting in the same basket? Are we putting in the same basket a mother that let me reach your line because you got your feedback. Hold on for a second. Are we putting in the same basket? Are we putting in the same basket the love, a mother's love that lift a car 90 pounds, like you said, a young lady, 90 pounds soaking wet with bricks in her pocket, lift a car for the child because she loves them that much? Are we putting that? Are we tying that in with the lady that killed her children and trying to tie all that into the same kind of love? Is that what we're doing here?
But can we put abortion in the same thing? See, right? Oh, you got me muted. You still got me muted.
No, you're not muted, brother. I'm
okay,
muted.
Right. Okay, good. Well, we put the same thing in an abortion. we put the same thing. You know, one thing example that I
No, brother, you
oh,
pulled
well, hold
all
on. One historical example that I remember is in Okinawa, Japan. People jumped off the mountain with their children because they'd rather see their children die rather than to accept a culture of oppressors or people attacking them. You see the same thing happen around the world. Rwanda, different other places. Women will take their kids, or people take their kids rather than to see them come up in another culture under oppression. People jumped off the ship and threw their kids off the ship in the sea crossing, right? So what is love? It's just like saying that you meet your wife, oh, you all in love, you meet your girlfriend at a bar, whatever, church, you all in love and everything, and then 6 months later, a year later, 2 years later, you don't have that love. You know
So
what?
Ibrahim, let me
Love.
ask you this question. Let me ask you this question. Hold on, let me ask you this.
Let me ask you this.
Are you also saying, and I'm just throwing something out there, I just want to hear your response to this right here. If a man say he love a woman and she want to leave him, and he love her so much, he take his 9mm out and shoot her dead because he don't want to see her with nobody else because he love. Are you saying that's love? Are you saying he loved her that much? Are you trying to tie that into the kind of love that we're talking about right now?
No, unfortunately, no. Love, that's a selfish thing. He's saying he loved her because he wanted to possess her. He didn't really love her. He never loved her. All he did, he felt somebody that she fulfilled some need he had, right? Now, you get with a woman, you be with her 10, 15, 18, 20 years, 30 years. You talk to those people became to accept each other. Those people have what you call, real love. They earn the love, but they would rather, now it's just like a woman, her husband is suffering from cancer, terminal cancer. He's in a lot of pain, right? Would you see them like to see them in a lot of pain when you go and take their life, give them the pills they need to end their life, if you believe in the hereafter.
Wow.
You know, I mean, you know, I think that love is one of the oldest philosophical things we try to explain.
Okay, I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. I don't wow, that's very different. That's very different. And wow. Okay, that's sometime only thing I can say is wow, and I have to leave it right there. Public citizen, what's on your heart, brother?
Good morning. Again, the feedback in. Okay, I'll just talk, so maybe the feedback will go away. It's still there. I don't know why it's there. Is it me? Hold on.
Yeah, I don't hear it on this end.
Okay. Yeah, well, you know, I can always count on Leonard to give the realist point of view, and other people back them up. It's like, you know, love can be used to manipulate, just defining love. Ibrahim just said it too. Like, you can manipulate people to define it a certain way. Like, oh, you know, you know, if you love me, then you will fill in the blank, right? Do something bad for me, and like, you know, to bring it to politics, you could look at all these people who say they love Trump and everything. You know, they do all kinds of crazy bad stuff because of their blind loyalty.
Ibrahim, I'm sorry. Hold on for a second. Let me pause your time for a second. Now, I think we veered off a little bit here. Are we talking about a godly love, or we talk because y'all are talking about a conditional and an unconditional love? Y'all have veered off to something totally different than what we're talking about. You know, y'all talking about a conditional type situation, and you know, wow. Okay, I'm sorry, your time back up, brother.
But okay, I mean, I think that's the underlying question is like, is love conditional? And on some level it is, right? If somebody wrongs you, you're gonna say, I don't love you anymore. Like, if you give them a chance and they, you know, they keep doing bad to you.
Did you really love them at
all? You know, I try to like have that agape attitude, you know, just like every person that I come across, I try to treat them, even if they're real mean, you know, I still try to have some love in my heart for them. I think we have a responsibility to do so, because I can't trust my own mind. You know, we are faulty. Our hormones get involved, you know, that all these brain chemicals start going off, and you're like, man, I love her. But do you really, or you just love, you know, certain things? So, you know, and then you have other people like at this Trump rally last week, this lady was like, you know, this was a great victory for white life. And, you know, it's like some people love their race more than anything else. So, you know, that's another problem. I say you got to find the balance here. You know, people love material things. They love themselves. They love money. They love all these, you know, superficial, and those things are important, but you just can't go too far with it. You know.
Okay. What's amazing to me is we've brought so many. Hold on, Ibrahim. You know I can't come right back to you, brother. I got all these people on here. I can't just come right back to you. You got to hold on for a minute. But my thing is this right here. We brought sex, and we talking about love. Now we've veered out to unconditional, conditional. We talking about sex. We talking about killing. We talk, you know, wow. It's amazing how many turns has come into this thing. I thought we were talking about love. Toya, you want to tell? I thought we was talking about love. Hold on, got you muted. I'm sorry. Got you muted. I'm sorry. There you go. Go ahead.
I'm a woman looking to be led by the men, and the men are having conversations right now, and I'm seeing now we know why Pharaoh killed Jesus, because men don't have this. I mean, I don't know. Those things that you got to wait your turn, sir. You got to wait your turn. There's 15 people online. You got to wait your turn, sir. What you have to say is very important, but you have to wait your turn, sir. We are off. And I mean, I feel like just from hearing these conversations, don't love me. We don't know what love is. That's why we're unable to give it. We don't know that love means, even if I don't touch you, even if you don't buy me anything, even if you don't say a nice word, if you get sick, I'm going to wipe your butt if you can't do it for yourself. We don't know that love means you shouldn't have to give me sex. You shouldn't have to take me out to eat. You shouldn't have to do anything for me to do and be a common, courteous, decent person to make sure that you are always okay and always taken care of, no matter what. And that comes from an individual aspect. There's nothing that no one on here can do. Let me tell you about this last ex-boyfriend. I knew I loved him inside, but the things he done, I didn't want to be with him no more. And God, why are you asking me to take care of this man that I know won't do it for me? But I know what God did for me. I know he loved me. I know he spared for me. So there's nothing I can ever do to replace God. And I love him so much. I will go beyond the things that I feel like I want to do and do it because I feel like God want me to do it. Because no one really understands. We had a conversation the other day about beating our kids. And correlating that with love, and then when your baby girl get caught up with a dude that beat on her, now you're not gonna know. Oh, I don't understand it, because we got love misconstrued. The power we have as individuals, this is the same kind of power that KKKs use to tell their sons that this is why we beat niggas. This is why we do this for our race. Because this misguided, misconstrued love that they feel for a race, just them and nobody else, is enough to allow you or lead you to manipulate generations after you and to believe in a compromised love. And I don't think that that's right. So I think, the more I sit here and listen to individuals, you know what I'm saying, and their aspects on what love is, do you know that all 372 million people feel this way and we all off track? My mind is blown away right now, Raheem, by some of the things that I'm hearing. And I feel like I'm a young woman. And if I choose a man to lead me, this is going to be I need me a break right now.
Wow. And see, and that's my thing as well. That's certainly my thing, man. We all base, man. We're definitely all base. No, Ibrahim, I got all these people. I can't come right back to you, brother. I can't. I got all these. Got to be respectful of their time as well. Hold on, Rico, are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
What's on your heart, brother?
I mean, man, listen, I'm open-minded and I see where everybody's coming from. I agree with what you're saying. You get what I'm saying? I do believe, once again, the spirit of love exists.
Yes.
And I do believe in miracles. But I do have an experience of seeing that sometimes love wasn't enough. I got several family members that died from cancer. Love wasn't enough. I got one to survive.
Mm-hmm.
The love of research, the love of life, the love of health, and the mind that people have to want to live and be healthy, to do the research and to come up with technology to be able to help cure cancer. That's a way of love. People love life. People love health. They don't want to die. If they have, people right now, people trying to find a way not to die because they have that unconditional love of life. So that spirit of love is deep in so many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you love? What way are you using that spirit of love?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it may go to a negative connotation sometimes. That's why I was able to go to the extreme that I did the first time, saying that about the molesters and the serial killer. You know, Leonard pretty much said it. It's going to reflect in your action. And I think true, sincere love or godly love is shown through compassion and concern, empathy. You know, and I think it's absolutely got to be shown that way until you have to adapt or maybe move to survive. Sometimes you might not be able to show somebody how much you love them if your life depends on it. You might have to take theirs.
Wow.
So I can understand where everybody's coming from. So, you know, really and truly, this might be a question that really didn't deserve or it didn't need a whole lot of details. It probably should have just been a yes or no answer. And so just to leave it at a yes or no, yes, I do believe in the spirit of love. I believe it can heal a lot of things, a lot of times. But it doesn't cure everything all the time.
Okay. And see, and that's one of the beautiful things, man. That's why I love the broadcast, because everybody have their own perspective, and we have a platform where they can actually voice the way they feel. I feel a little differently, man. I think that love, the spirit of love, can heal in regardless of what it is. If it's the true spirit of love, if it's the true spirit of love, not where you're expecting anything or want anything, or I'm gonna give you this, but you got to give me that back, or you know, if it's pure, if it's the purest spirit of love, I think it can really heal anything. I think it can make that.
But
person,
right here,
yes,
I'm with you, Raheem.
I believe that too. But now, if the pure spirit of love could heal anything, would we need medicine? Would we need research? Would we need surgery? Would we need
I'm gonna say
treatment?
this. I'm gonna answer your question. I'm gonna answer your question by saying that yes, because men don't really buy into or understand the spirit of love. So they want to go out there, and it's like a person that has issues in their lives. Instead of dealing with the issues that's in their lives, they want to go out there and get some drugs and alcohol and try to curb what it is instead of dealing with it. You got so many people that's drink themselves to death. Right. Because they didn't want to deal with situations in their lives. People that crack or whatever the drug is, they've gone to that so many times, and it's taken them out because they didn't want to deal with the issues in their lives. So I say that to say, if the true spirit of love, in its purest form, I think it can heal anything. And if they really got into the true spirit of love, no, I don't think they would need any medication or something like that, because God has, just like God created you, he can certainly recreate you. So whatever's going on in your life, he can take that out. So that's just me talking. Captain, let me ask you this question. If we had, let's do it like this. An alien, Captain, are you there? Captain, are you there? Oh, we can't hear you, sir. You go out and come right back in. Go out and come back in. While we're waiting on Cap, I think there he is. Let me see. Can I hear you now, Captain? Captain, are you there?
Is VP on? I ain't heard VP in a while. VP still on?
No, he has some phone issues. His phone kept acting up on him, so he sent me a message. He had to get off and try to do something with his phone. Let me go to Badger. Ibrahim, I can't, brother. You know how many people we got here?
Well, how many times you went back to Rico and everybody else, man? Come on.
I got my list of people. I got a list when I call people.
I just want to say one little thing, man.
No, hold on, brother. Hold on for me.
You mute me, but I can hear other people in the background.
All right, there you go. Okay, Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
I was thinking about some of the things that was said and stuff, and once again, it's like what I was saying earlier. Some of that's going to be based on personal belief. You know, like I've been told by some people that autism can be cured. Um, and that I don't agree with.
That's you.
And the reason I don't agree with it is because to me, I was born this way and I've learned to accept who I am. So there's a difference between thinking something should be cured versus love of understanding and acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone's meant to survive cancer or stroke or different things like that. Some people, that's just the way they're supposed to go out because it's a lesson for other people. And to me, that's love also. Because our experiences in life is a blessing because it gives us tools to help other people, to know what it feels like to go through certain things or to learn what it's like to be different. And it's learning that that is also God's love, Great Spirit's love. I love having the privilege to be a half mix. And, you know, I'll joke around sometimes and say I don't like my white skin and stuff, but I don't really believe that. I'm not really like that. It's frustrating. It's annoying to be judged. It's and all that stuff. And it's also annoying and frustrating when I'm not allowed to have a voice because of me being who I am. Yet I don't be hateful about it because I'm so used to being, oh, you're just some poor guy, you're just some disabled guy, you're just a retard, you're just white, you're blah 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 blah. Then I'm going, you know, just because you treat me that way don't mean I'm going to treat you that way. I'm going to treat you with love. So if you want to be judgmental because of something about me, that's on you, not on me.
Exactly.
So
Go ahead, Badger. Finish your thought, brother.
I'm happy for brain trauma. I'm happy about being raped or gangbanged, I guess is the actual word. I'm happy about being autistic. I'm happy about the trauma I experienced because of the life lessons and me realizing that through all of that turmoil, all of that trauma I experienced in my life, I had a spirit watching over me that taught me how to be stronger than anyone else, that taught me how to be community oriented, because other human beings are so wrapped up in their own head that they have forgot that people are individuals and you can't command them to believe or to do what you want. That is not showing them love.
Good deal. Good deal. Captain, can we hear you? Hold on. I got you. Hold on. I got you mute. Let me see. Go ahead.
By calling 1-888
Captain, can we hear you?
2291.
Okay, we got somebody phone line going on. Cap, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. Willa, what's on your heart, sis?
Yeah, I was sitting up here and I was thinking about what I go through. I mean, almost every day. And there's one thing that everybody said that was fixed with me, and that's belief. And when you talk about belief, that's faith. Without faith it's impossible to believe. The question is, can love conquer anything? And I believe that love can conquer a lot of things. I believe there's so much, Raheem, that sometimes when I do see somebody who is sick or something, I just believe that I got the spirit so hard of love, which is God within me, that I can feel Him. The power of love can go forth. It's a belief part.
Yeah.
But it's our characteristics about ourselves that we are so stubborn, our pride, that the very thing that works for us will hold back. Because I'm going to say, I ain't letting nobody tell me nothing. I'm sure. And the Bible says that. A lot of people don't fall because a lack of knowledge, and a lack of faith. So I understand. I understand. But I understand what you say when you said, can love conquer? You better believe it can. You better believe that love can conquer anything as long as God is tied to it. You better believe you can.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
what's on my heart.
And I believe that's
That is what's on my heart. I believe it with all my heart
yes.
and with all my soul. I believe I can move mountains right here.
Exactly. Exactly. Let me see, Captain. Can we hear you? Can we hear you, Captain?
Fell down the stairs. How much did it cost you?
Can't hear you, sir. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Rico, let me see, Ibrahim. You
What up?
go ahead, Ibrahim.
You got me muted.
Ibrahim, brother, if I tell you to go ahead, brother, you're not muted, man. I got this side. Go ahead and talk, brother. If I tell you to go ahead and talk, I'm not gonna tell you to talk if you're muted, brother.
All right, you hear me? All right, good. Okay, you know, I think people misclassified what I said. Another brother came on correct, right? These are learned experiences. Everything y'all think about love, you've heard that. People told you this is what love is, right? The same God that you say, hey, the same God that you say God's love, he told the people out in the desert, go kill them people. Take everything, kill man, woman, and child, take everything they got, right? When a hurricane, the power of God, you see a hurricane or a tornado wipe out a whole neighborhood, right? You say, oh, praise God, it didn't happen to me, right? But that's the love of God, because of that whole environment, there's a purpose behind that. I was reading a part of the Quran when it talked about when he took one of his and showed them what one of his angels do, or the jinn does, and
Okay.
it by his permission, right? So,
brother, you going in a whole different direction, brother. You going in a whole different. You know, it's 10:03. The show is about to end, and brother, you going in a whole different direction. You're going in a whole different direction right now. Totally different direction.
Look, you said love. You said LOVE. You said LOVE, love. Right?
The spirit. My question is this: the spirit of love. Do you still believe? Do you still believe in the spirit of love? Do you still believe that it can heal everything? Now you're talking about tying up cities. You're talking about blowing up everything. You're talking about you're gonna do this and a hurricane come by. And thank you, Lord, you didn't, brother. We talking about the spirit of love.
What is the spirit of love? What to you? What is the spirit of love, right? Because you keep knocking me down. We're talking about love, the spirit of love. That's what I was talking about. What I was saying is that this is pre-manufactured, and you can't identify love. What love is to you now won't be love other. I work for my people wholeheartedly with all my heart, right? I love my people in a sense. You see what I'm saying? Because what's good for them is good for me, right? What's good for them is good for me. I've been shot by my own people. I done had the hell beat out of me by my own people. You know, whatever. But that helped me to become the man, understand empathy for other people. You know, and how we all connected. And if something happened to bad to one of us, it's happening to bad all of us.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. I appreciate you, brother. Let me go. Let me go. It's already 10:05, brother. We'll be talking another 2 hours, man, with where you're going right now. Captain, can you hear me? Captain, can you hear me? Okay. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother? Leonard, you there?
I think that people really do understand. However, it does, I think, will inspire people to check their behavior. This conversation this morning, and to be more observe how you love. What is really love to you? What are you doing that's so loving? And then think about what more you can do. Because ain't nobody loving like Christ. Ain't nobody loving like God. I don't, because I can guarantee you, somebody do something to your daughter, you go into their house to kill them. Okay? So let's not get it confused. When I think of love, I think about that love that say, here's my innocent son. He ain't done nothing. But I love you so much. I'm going to send him to that cross. Don't you think for 1 minute I'm going to put my son on the cross for you.
Wow.
Don't think about it. Don't even let your mind conceive it. But what each and every one of us can do is we can try our best, even in the commandments, a commandment to love. You have a commandment from your God to love. So you need to get your instruction from God on that loving you doing. Not from everybody else in this world.
Good deal. Good deal. I'm trying to get Captain. Captain, you there? No, brother, you still muted. I don't have you muted on this end. You're not muted at all. I'll mute you, then I'll unmute you again. But you're not muted on this end. But listen, we got to get out of here, man. But my question is this right here, and I want you all to think about this for a second. If this conversation that we had today, based on love and based on the spirit of love, if we had to pull a lot of children in and this had to be their explanation as to what love is, what do we just teach them? What did we just teach? If it's children that had to come and they don't understand what love is, and we're explaining what love is, the spirit of love, and they had to listen to this broadcast, this conversation that we had today, did we paint a picture? Or what picture did we paint? Rico, what's going on at 3 o'clock today, sir?
Oh, you didn't think you came back to me too soon? If you missed today's broadcast and would like to see or hear the rebroadcast in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dkmmediagroup.com.
Yeah, Rico, you got called out today, didn't you?
Man, look, you don't skip past me and everything. I was in the bathroom listening, couldn't even answer because I didn't want to embarrass myself. Now you joking talking about how you came back too soon. I waited about 45 minutes before that time. Hey, you know what, though? It's something I was thinking about, though, man. Based off of what you just said, if the children were on the broadcast and were listening. And it goes back to what Leonard just said a second ago. You know what I'm saying? Do your best. We are human. We ain't perfect. You know what I'm saying? We actually still living on faith or whatever faith we have. But the spirit of love, I think it exists. I think Ibrahim was probably speaking on the fact of why he would think the spirit of love doesn't exist based off those reasons that he was given. But I think if younger people were listening to this broadcast, you know, we would have to give them a good dose of reality without confusing them, because in one hand we said we could believe the spirit of love could heal anything, and then Badger came right back and said, well, you know what, you ain't gonna save everybody from cancer.
Wow.
And that's true. No matter how much you love them, no matter how much spirit of love you have and how much praying and crying you do, a lot of people still end up in that morgue a little bit later on that day. In the stage 4, you got 1 week to live, but you might not make it through that day. But we praying.
Preacher.
When we believe.
Preacher. We got to get out of here, preacher. We got to go to the young lady that's gonna pray now, preacher. You don't wait until 10:10. See, you don't been called on too many times already today. Now,
I had to get that give back. I had to give back for the one you missed me on. I need all of it.
Good deal. Willow.
Raheem.
Willow.
Because it's on the word, but I was waiting to say amen.
Willow, let's go, Willow. Let's go.
Amen. He was hitting every nail. Father God, in heaven, Lord, we just thank you, Lord. We are coming to your throne this morning with expectations, Lord. Father, we know that you've given us the free will to choose. But you said it in your word to choose love. Father, you said that you are love. And Father, you said that it is impossible to please you without faith. So Father, we're standing on your word this morning. There are a lot of questions that are being asked, Lord. So Father, we're asking that you give each and every last one a relationship with you, Lord. You said in your word in John 6:44 that you draw me into you, Lord. So I'm asking you this morning, Lord, to stand on your word. Father, we trust you, Lord, and trust no man. I thank you so much for what you do in our lives, the protection, the guidance, Lord. I just thank you, Lord. Touch each and every last one that's on this line. Keep them safe. touch their hearts, lead them, guide them, direct them, and show them your ways. We love you. We honor you. We glorify you this morning. In Christ Jesus' name. Amen, amen, amen. Glory to God. Thank you.
On that note, we're about to get out of here for today. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your day. It is now 10:12. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And then we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other. And please, please,
Goodbye.
please be blessed.